Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Hey, look, Inception. Woo! All right, we'll talk about that stuff in a second. Yeah, exactly. Woo! Welcome back to the stream.
Cat.
I am your host, Kdog57, joined by K-Cat with a cone. She's almost out of the cone. I'm gonna give her another day or two to make sure. But she's like, I want to be on the stream too tonight, Dad. And jump for it. Jump. Wait for it. Oh. She's like, nope, I'm going down to the ground. All right. Welcome, everybody, back to the show. Official episode 3 of Kdog After Dark. Don't really have much to say in terms of intros. I'm going to lock down, like, some type of interesting intro to talk. And, you know, it'll be like the Who's Lying Is It Anyway thing, where you guys will know exactly what I'm going to say, like, every week. As of right now, I have no fucking idea what it's going to be. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it and do a whole little show thing while I open this wine. Because, you know, priorities. This week, I am joined by the lovely JoJo again. She's beneath me. Highlight of my night, definitely. I have Shredder over there watching, the two of us. You know, he's over there. Always co-host Shredder, the most of the time, sometimes co-host JoJo. And then special guest this week. Everybody say hi and belated happy birthday. Was yesterday, right? Yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday,
yes.
Happy birthday to Pop. The beautiful Pop.
Happy late birthday. Thank you.
I can lush and say how beautiful Pop is because I did it last week to JoJo, and I got to share the love around. So
I feel like you can't yell pop like that.
Pop.
You. It looks
Pop.
like poop.
Pop. We can do like ASMR and just do like pop.
Well, you know, a lot of people do that when they spell my name and they're trying to like emphasize it.
Right.
They do a bunch of O's, and I was like poop, and they're like, oh, I didn't mean that.
I feel like it has to be like PAWWWWP.
Yeah,
Pop.
they do that, or PAWP, or
Like-
just a bunch of P's.
Yeah,
And
like when you do
this
that,
is a
like
PP, but-
stop, you know, like stop, you know, with like all the H's and all that, you know. All right. So Pop, since it's your first time on the show, give us your spiel. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you come up with PopDemTartz as a name? Let's start with that one.
Oh, the classic. So that happened actually. I really wanted a clever tag, and I probably spent about, I'm not exaggerating, like 2-3 hours sitting at that screen where it's like change your gamer tag.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so frustrated that I couldn't think of one, that I was literally eating a Pop-Tart. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it, PopDemTartz. Like, pop, because I think there was probably rap music playing, you know, Pop Dem Bottles. And I was like,
Rap music and Pop-Tarts. That just sounds like a normal college night. I could see that.
right?
Awesome.
I
So
never changed it though.
yeah. So what all do you stream? For those that aren't familiar with you, for some silly reason.
First person shooters. I don't think I've really even played a story game on stream, because I'm very, very competitive. So more shooters the better.
I mean, this morning I got off, which you all know I'm third shift. I get off, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 9 o'clock. I get off this morning. It's like 9 o'clock, and Pop was still on because she was doing 24-hour stream, I guess, for her birthday for some silly reason, and just made PUBG look easy. What, probably the first time you picked up PUBG in how long, you said, or something?
Oh, a really long time.
Yeah. And she's just going around with the M4, just like clicking on people's foreheads. It was great. But yeah, so there's a little bit of that. We'll talk more, of course, but Pop is our, extra special guest. Every guest is special here on Kdog After Dark, but our extra special guest tonight is Pop.
I'm a different kind of special.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's their own type of special a little bit. Something I am instituting starting this week, guys, is I'm gonna do the social a little bit, and if the mods could keep, because obviously my stream deck did not link up, and of course it's always something. So if we could throw out the Discord every once in a while, and the CAD2 command, because there is going to be a section in my Discord as we're going through the call, since we aren't always going to be interacting with chat. If you guys do have questions or something that you want a little more clarification on that we don't get to when we're chatting, I have a whole section in the Discord set up for it that you guys can go in and post there. And then when we get to the end of the show, we can touch back on timing-wise as we're moving through topics, the different things, if we need a little more clarification from you guys and that. So that's something that I want to set up moving forward, and I think is a good thing, so that way we don't have to stop and keep kind of going back on topics until the end. But yeah. With that, hold on. I have. Where did my list go? Oh yeah, that's right. It closed because I had to do the thing. Let's get on to topics. First thing, I want to stay a little close to home. This past week, Shroud hits 1 million followers on Mixer. The second person, Ninja was first, I think, right? I'd assume. I didn't research it, but I assume that Ninja was the first one. You know, so he hit 1 million. Oh, there's K-Cat. You know, she's excited that Shroud hit 1 million followers. So he hit 1 million. Now, she's really excited about it. She loves going across that Go XLR. She didn't hit anything else, right? Nope. Okay, I can't see. She's like, yay, Shroud. So my question is just very quickly, congrats one to Shroud, like I said. Move forward. Do you guys think that this is a bunch of people that came over from Twitch? Is it just a bunch of kids that redeemed their free sub and follow just because they recognize the name? Is it bringing new views in? You know, is him coming over? Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of the above also. I think he did bring a lot over with him. But again, like, you know, I clicked that free sub. Why not?
Yeah. Oh,
right?
fuck yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're not as cool as the
Shroud
ninja
when he was on
emotes.
Twitch, so I was
but...
really excited when he came over.
I enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
I've always
really do.
enjoyed
Oh, yeah.
Shroud.
Yeah.
He's really well-rounded.
Oh yeah, he's one of those that is just there for the game. You could sit there and just watch him, and it's the game. Like I wouldn't say that Shroud has the most outgoing personality by any stretch of the imagination. He's not an he's not an entertainer. Oh yeah.
I
He's
wasn't expecting that from him when I
yeah. He doesn't look like he's you know.
Oh, really? That's funny.
He looks like a kid.
Right. Well, and that's what everyone talks about with him is like his voice does not match his face at all.
No.
Very
Not
much
at
so. Very much so. But yeah, he you know, just watching him just click on people's foreheads is just amazing. The flick is just no matter what game. You know, we've talked about this Shredder multiple times, you know.
Yeah. I was just watching him yesterday, and it was funny because he was playing Apex, you know, and I don't think I've seen him play Apex in a really long time, and so I just happened. Yeah, well, Tarkov is what he's on, and I'm not like I love the game, I love watching people play it, but I can only watch it for so long before I'm just like blah. So to see him playing Apex for the first time in a while, I was like, okay, I'll watch him, and he's an aimbot. It's hilarious.
It's insane.
It's funny how pissed his chat gets when he goes down. like I watched them. They were in a top 3 situation. He runs on a squad and he gets downed, but his 2 other teammates are up, and everyone in chat's like writing "Rip, Shroud's not that great," blah blah blah. His team wipes the other guys, pick him up, and then Shroud goes and squad wipes the last team by himself. And I'm like, you all wrote "Rip" and you thought he was dead. But I was like, wait till his death box pops before you start saying "rip" in chat.
Yeah,
I was like, the guy does things.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, there's still that the Modern Warfare little thing that they held like 2 months ago. That little clip when he was playing with Tattoo and all the other like big streamer guys and Summit and all them when they did the Modern Warfare thing, and he just like clicks over and the frame by frame analysis of his reaction time to see somebody out of the corner of his eye and just turn and flick and get the fucking headshot. It was like 0.7 seconds to land and get a headshot or something like that. And it was just like, oh my god.
There's a video that just went viral saying Shroud cheats. And Summit 1G and Ninja both did like a video breakdown, you know, and so they watched this video that was accusing Shroud of cheating, and they broke it down, and they were like, no, this is just how Shroud is.
This is how fucking mean he is, you know,
because they were just like, well, because the one main one that even Summit was like, I don't know how he did it. He was playing PUBG. He turned left because he thought he heard someone to his left, instantly snapped back to the right, and shot the guy in the head with a Car 98 point blank. And everyone's like, well, why did he look left? You know, and Summit was like, because he heard something.
Yeah.
And then was like, oh shit, his audio might have been backwards.
Yeah.
You know.
And his reaction time is just insane. Like there's no way that he can instinctualize. It doesn't hit his head it doesn't go to his brain that there's somebody there, really. Like, it just bypasses everything. It just goes straight from his eyes to his fucking left finger to click. Yep. Like, he just, like, something,
so
some blur is on his screen, and he just clicks. And he's like, there should be, you know, his eyes and finger are just in link where it's just like, there should be a head somewhere in that vicinity, in that, you know, that little area. Like, he doesn't think. The reaction time is so fast. He just does not think before like doing it. Because me, sometimes I'll go, oh wait, is that a person? No, he just fucking turns and clicks, like, you know, and gets a headshot.
His game knowledge too. Like, another example was a video I watched where he was showing people, like, he's all, you'll watch amateur players looking in spots where people can't be, but that's just them. They're thinking, oh, there's somebody up here.
Yeah.
And he knows by playing the game so much, no one can physically be up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, he doesn't even look in spots like that. So it's just, it's also game knowledge, like knowing where people can and cannot be.
Yeah. So I definitely, I definitely think, personally also, I think he did bring, I think he did help bring over some more gamers to the platform, whether in the long run, whether they stay, whether they go back, et cetera, that remains to be seen. I think we're still in the early stages of that, honestly. He hasn't even been over here 6 months, has he? Maybe 6 months? I don't think it's been 6 months yet.
Not even.
Yeah.
I've been...
No.
4 months, like November?
For a year
Ninja
today.
came over in August, so Shroud was after Ninja.
Yeah, I want to say it was November-ish.
It was right after I went full time. I know that.
Yeah, because I've been partnered for a year today, and I feel like
congrats.
he hasn't been there.
Happy anniversary. Oh, it's an anniversary stream. It's birthday anniversary stream. Yay.
Yeah, I actually had to be told that. I had no idea.
Who told you? Jessica told you that, didn't she?
No, Buns did. I got partnered on Unicorn Farts' birthday. And so she was on Facebook and was like, oh, it's Uni's birthday. He's like, doesn't that make this your 1 year mark? And I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice. So yeah, it's definitely congrats to Shroud, of course, you know, first 1 million. I'm curious to see who is going to be the...
It took that long.
Yeah, very true. I'm curious to see who's going to be the first one of like a homegrown person, honestly. I think Jared has the highest view count. I think follower count of homegrown mixer people.
What about
I think Jared. Arconaut's behind Jared. And Arconaut's actually even behind Covent. I found that out at South. I thought Arconaut was ahead of Covent, but yeah, Covent's actually bigger than Arco. I was very.
I don't know.
Yeah, I looked up stats and everything, and it was just like, okay. I finally found that one. So, yay. The nice thing about having 17,000 mods.
Honestly, that Shroud and Ninja and all these other people that are coming over, they're going to bring more traffic through. I think that it is going to be possible for those guys to get 1 million easy.
Yeah. It's only going to be easier, you know. We've talked about the what's the word I'm looking for? The people, the viewer, the demographics. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Of Mixer before, I know, so I don't really want to get into it again. But I think it could only be better getting older gamers, I would say, onto the platform. Yes. You know, because that's something that Mixer overall as a whole doesn't have. But we've talked about that before. I don't want to get a huge into that. We can always sidebar that for later. But yeah, I think it can only be a good thing. But definitely congrats to him. I think Jared is probably the one in line, I think, to be the first homegrown million. So we'll see about that.
So if nothing else, it put Mixer on the map. Because I know that it was always just Twitch, and now you hear Twitch and Mixer. You know, it separated Mixer from the other new streaming sites like D-Live and
YouTube and Facebook.
I always forget about D-Live. I always forget about that place.
Yeah, and now that we have
Jojo, how's D-Live?
That's probably how Mixer was. People forgot about Mixer.
Never used D-Live.
Oh, I thought it was D-Live. Weren't you on? You were on something else for a little bit, weren't you? Didn't we? Wasn't it you? Oh, who was it?
From Twitch to Mixer.
I thought somebody else was on it. Did the music get jacked up? I can just turn the music fucking off. Oh, that's right. We turned it up because we were listening to it last night. I normally keep it down around like here. That's right. When we were listening to our 90s one-hit wonders, I turned the music up while we were playing, and I forgot to turn it back down.
The only thing I've ever heard about D-Live was that it's a lot easier to make commission over there. Like I heard that you get money, like how we have Sparks and stuff like that. They have a system like that too, where it's like free donos. But that, I don't know much about it. I've never streamed over there.
Hell, Cornhub is really great to their creators too, and I'm not streaming over there yet. Hashtag, you know, their content creators, you know, their content creators are very well represented. You know, amateur content creators. But we're not going to get into that one, you know, too much. Welcome everybody in chat again as we're going. If we don't immediately say hi, we do appreciate you. All the follows, all the hosts tonight as we're going. We love you guys a long time, but you know, we are doing the show, so we might not get to you guys immediately. Definitely make sure if you are following or here for one of us, especially here on my channel, you're following these lovely people as well. If we can make sure we're also throwing that co-stream up there so that way everybody's links are getting there in case for whatever reason you can't click on it.
One way we could do it right there too is if we see someone say hi to one of us or have a comment for one of us, just we could type it in chat pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what we did that last week and it worked out well. I forgot to like mention it pre-stream, but it worked out I think rather well. It's like, you know, a simplified little thing. But yeah, moving on. This week we have, so con-wise, we have a couple big cons coming up this next week. Very simple. This week we have DreamHack Anaheim, which I'm assuming none of us are going to because we're all still here. I feel like most of us would have gone, but I'll go probably to Atlanta this fall. That's the goal, is Atlanta. That's a little more close to home. But then, of course, next week is East. I know we have a lot of people in our communities going there. Are any of you guys going to East next week?
Nope.
No. Aw. I know we have people chat. I know, like, yeah.
Too soon after South, and I don't want to go to Boston in February.
Exactly. Last year it was in March. At least. And
the only year that I ever went was in April, and even then it was.
Or yeah, like later, yeah.
Like, so I'm like, February? Nah, bro. Yeah, no. I went to Boston once in February for a girl I was dating in college, and it just was no bueno. And I was going to see a girl and I was enjoying myself because I went to see the girl, and I still didn't end up enjoying that trip because it was too fucking cold. Yeah.
But yeah, it's too soon after South, I think. But the interesting
French laundry girl.
Oh.
No, different girl. This is way before. Pop likes to give me a hard time because she calls me super bougie because I go to these nice places. Yeah, I'll go to these nice places. I mean, I am the one sitting here drinking wine, so I can't say shit. And I told her about the story about me taking a girl to like French Laundry and how much that costs. Forget those of you guys that don't know, like French Laundry is exceedingly expensive. One of those kinds of places. And
is it a restaurant or a laundromat?
It's a restaurant.
Right?
It's
some bougie restaurant.
It's a restaurant. It's a restaurant. So way back in the day, it was like a laundry room and all that kind of stuff where it started and all that. So that's why it's like modeled after. But it's one of the most extravagant fucking things, most well-known fine dining places in the nation. Locally. But anyways, she gives me a hard time for that because I spent like $1,000 taking this girl to dinner. This one girl, and Pop's like, when are you taking me to dinner?
Jesus, dude.
Right?
And it was like, it was about $1,000 dinner, yeah.
You're lucky if I take you to Waffle House at 3 in the morning. Just saying.
It's one of those once in a lifetime experiences. But we're getting off track. Cons. Anaheim. Obviously this week. I've never been. I assume it's like the DreamHack sort of thing. DreamHack seems to have more tournaments and things like that normally, as far as I'm aware. So I know there's like a Fortnite tournament this week, a bigger one of those, bigger payouts, things like that. A lot of cosplay and everything. So that's Anaheim. Of course, Mixer has more of the PAX focus. Like I said, talk about East. The interesting thing that I actually just saw today was an article that surprisingly, Sony, which D, I don't know if you saw this, and everybody else who is going to East, Sony actually backed out of going to PAX East next week. They canceled their appearance because of coronavirus concerns and all that.
Yep.
And
Sony hasn't been to a convention in a while. They also backed out of E3 last year.
But they were at West, and they had plans. The thing is, they had planned a big area at East because they were supposed to be debuting a demo and everything of Last of Us 2.
Oh man.
So that's kind of huge. That was going to be a huge draw, is to go play Last of Us 2, and that's a big hit. This is a big fucking hit. I think to the con overall. Where's my DV? I don't have a. How is it too much? I'll just pause the music. I literally turned it down like so much. There we go. I'm just turning it off. I know. I just have it in my head. There we go. Sounds good. But yeah, it's I think that Sony backing out, whether here or there, you know, for coronavirus is whatever. I mean, I get it, I guess. I mean, I work at a fucking theme park, so I mean, I don't know. I think if anybody should be more concerned about it, it should be me.
I think people are just freaking out about it. It's just like, what was that West Nile virus? And like West Nile was the one that got to me.
Yeah.
Swine flu, freaking mad cow disease. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. So
no, I think West Nile was the one that got me. I was smacking mosquitoes left and right. I was taking karate classes to prevent myself from getting that shit.
Yeah, Kung Fu Kid or Karate Kid grabbing the, you know. Yeah, exactly, grabbing all the mosquitoes out of the air.
I was like, get out of here, mosquitoes! You ain't getting me.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the biggest thing that I saw. I think I agree with you guys. I think East was way too close this year to South.
They need to stop pushing it back. It can't be in February or March. Get that shit up to like at least April, if not May.
Yeah, it's way
when I say
so.
April, I mean like April 30th. I mean like the end of April. Apparently, those people have never been to Boston.
To PAX South, like they need to spread them out just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's absurdly close.
Now, as far as size, though, is PAX East that like the biggest?
PAX East, it's not the
second.
I don't think it's the. I think West is the biggest.
I was told West is the biggest. So D is saying East is largest.
West is the biggest. I've been to East and I've been to South, and South was so tiny.
South is very tiny.
South is tiny compared to East. East is like way more like business inclusive. Like there's a lot of like.
Is that what we mean by big? Is more vendors or
more vendors and more attenders?
Okay.
Oh really? I was
literally in both fronts.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know about West because I've never been, but I'm trying to go to West this year.
I never hear people going to East. I always hear them going to West and South.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then
South is a party PAX, so a lot of people like to go to that one just to hang out.
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of like business requirements, really.
Yeah. It's all that one floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I feel like it shrunk like 30% from last year. You know, South did personally. It was even smaller than it was last year, and I already thought it was small last year.
It's technically done, isn't it? It's no longer.
There hasn't been an official word one way or the other. The contract ended. That was last.
Yeah, this year was the last contracted year. That just means that they can either cancel South completely or they'll move it to a new city with a new contract.
Or keep it there with a new contract. Like, yeah. I would love Atlanta. I think, though, Atlanta, if they're going to do it, they need to just go to Orlando. I'm saying this one because I could just drive there, so I'm a little biased. But
I'm not opposed
honestly,
to
Orlando has replaced, especially in January. Orlando has replaced Vegas as the premier convention destination. More people want to go to Florida because then also they could take a whole week.
Vegas would be too expensive.
Well, I'm just saying, like, as for just in general, because I know this because this is my industry outside of work. Orlando has replaced Vegas in terms of premier con destination because one, you can go there for a whole week and then you could bring like the family if you want or whatever, and they can do stuff at all the parks. It's just more of a premier destination that cons are more willing to go to because they get more attendees, et cetera, more people will go. So I would love to see it in Orlando, honestly, because I would drive there, but also I think you would get more attendance and you would get more companies than you do in San Antonio also.
Even with was it EGX now or
GCX? Yeah, but
GCX,
something like that. That Guardian Con, what was formerly known as Guardian Con. Didn't know that. Somebody was like a month ago. Somebody was like, "Are you going to GCX this year?" I'm like, "What the fuck is GCX?" And they like sent me like, I'm like, and then I still don't know. I was like, "Oh, this is cool. This has been going on for 5 years. How did I not know about this?" And I clicked on it. It's like pictures from last year's Guardian Con, and I'm like, "Oh, it's fucking Guardian Con. They just changed the fucking name, you know?" So it was interesting. But it's definitely a small. That's not like anywhere near the size of PAX. That is one convention hall at a hotel. It's not. It's not a big thing. Yeah, it was at the Rosen this last year. It started up as a meetup. Guardian Con started up as a Destiny fan club meetup in Tampa in a bar. So that's how it started. And then they migrated to Orlando. In the last 2 years, they've been in, I think, the Rosen Center and all. But once again, it's still just a convention hall. So everybody's prom who had a prom in a hotel, that's the size of GCX. That's the size of Guardian Con. It's not a huge thing. Yeah, it's that it had the big draws last year when I went were the Destiny Shadowkeep release and Borderlands 3 demo. Those were like the big things. And there was just a bunch of small little kiosks and all that. And that was it. It was like one hall and then outside. Like that was it. It was at the Rosen Center. So it doesn't compare to a PAX event, down here in the South, at all in any way, any way, shape, or form. There we go. Stretch of the imagination. I can talk. I swear. Both of the things, all of the things. Oh.
Yeah, I'm also one of those guys where I'm only able to go to one con a year.
Yeah,
so,
that's mostly me too.
So I'm switching from south to west because west is just way closer for me. So for me personally, wherever they choose to do south, unless it's in California, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking a risk trying to go to west this year because I went to south.
Yeah,
so but they're like 9 months apart, so like you might be able to save enough for it.
I'm trying to go to west. West was amazing last year.
Well, and for me, it's gonna be a little bit easier because I'm actually planning on moving to Seattle.
Nice.
No way.
So me, Buns, my girlfriend, and then her brother and his wife, we're all going, and they're going to look for places to live, and then Buns and I are going to be going to PAX West at the same time. So
nice. Awesome. I feel like I knew that, but at the same time, I don't remember that. I feel like I knew you, or you had said that, and then I forgot.
We said it last year because we've been planning on it, and we're the type of people, we don't just move. We want to go check it out and see like the lifestyle and whatnot before we make that big jump.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember you talking about that vaguely. I'm like, I feel like that's around here somewhere. Anyways, but yeah, so cons, unfortunately, like none of us we're talking about that. West, I think we're all half planning on going to West, so that'll at least be fun. But I would love to see South in Orlando. I think it would bring more of a draw than the current South in San Antonio does, both in attendees and in actual distributors and whatever the technical word is for the people who are actually there. What's the word I'm looking for? The people who have the booths at cons. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember. Vendors. There we go. I'm like the people with the booths and the stuff and the things and yeah. Hey, I got a lot. Okay, I have like 17 different windows open and notes in front of me, okay? I have so much going on right now. Same. So, but yeah, so I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing all the pictures from the cons, from everybody, seeing all the news from it. Sony dropping out is unfortunate. I was looking forward to see how Last of Us played, for sure. Razra, I haven't even started drinking wine. Hush, I'm just tired. I stayed up too late, and then I stayed up watching Pop click on people's foreheads for a while in the early morning, playing that.
So out of it.
Yeah. By hour 21, she was just like in a hoodie and just like sitting there, just like, hi guys, and then she would like randomly like dance and all that in her chair. It was great.
It's so accurate.
It was amazing. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to see all the picks from everybody. I think we all, if it was a little less expensive and easier to get to, I think we all would be going, of course. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. It just sucks that Sony backed out. I haven't seen any other big names backing out as, influential as Sony. But it should be interesting to see if any other companies do. It's and so close to the con too. It's weird that they waited until a week before to be like, nah, bro. So, anyways, on to gaming news. Well, gaming techie kind of stuff.
We need sound effects eventually.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, do like little things like different segments. Yeah, I could like that. Yeah, put that in the call for later. I'll add it to my list of things to do by episode 72. Yeah, exactly.
A million things.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many things I want to do with this. We're officially on episode 3, guys. Work with me.
I've been meaning to ask, what wine is that? What kind of wine?
So this is just a Russian River Valley Pinot. I actually just picked it up.
Just that.
Yeah.
It was a Russian River Pinot.
No, it's so the brand I'd never heard of. It's called Payoff. I don't know. I picked it up. It was BOGO today at Publix when I went grocery shopping, and I like Russian River Valley Pinots, so I picked 2 of them up, and it's not bad. It's very light, very easy to drink, very red, very red berry floral, very easy to sip on while we're sitting here talking. It's not dry, succulent. Like majority of the wines that I drink are more succulent, dark berry, tannic, oaky, things like that. Yes, Russian pea, of course.
I love it.
But in gaming techie news, moving forward, I don't know, insert sound effect here or later. First thing, the shorter of the 2 topics, before we get to the one of 2 main topics that I think are going to be interesting today. Upcoming VR games, which is part of the reason I think East will be interesting. But Ubisoft, actually, in the last week, those guys that don't keep up on the gaming things, that's why you have this show and that's why you have us. Ubisoft actually just recently started hiring and putting out a big feelers for AAA VR title. So Ubisoft, we know, does do a lot of like small, medium kind of size VR games. They have a decent foothold in that, but they just released and they're starting to hire people on for an unannounced AAA VR title. So the question is, in the last week, Ubisoft only has 4 AAA games: Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Division. So which of these do you think they're trying to make into a VR?
Not the Division at all.
This is Far Cry?
Not Rainbow. I don't think Rainbow Six either. I don't see Rainbow Six being VR.
Yeah.
I would say Assassin's Creed or Far Cry.
I can't do VRs anyway because they get me so motion sick.
Yeah, maybe you know what? Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed
like
would be dope as fuck as a VR.
I would fall on my face. Jumping from
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point of like VR.
Oh, let's jump into this hay bale.
Oh god.
Far Cry does have more realistic movements for fighting.
Yeah.
I think Assassin's Creed in an ideal world where VR is actually more than it is right now technologically wise would be great. But I think right where technology is and all that right now, I would say Far Cry is probably the better bet. I would assume.
The safer bet.
Yeah, I would say that's probably, but Assassin's Creed would be insane just to, do that. But that being said, just a small little one-off, I think Rainbow Six, and I've seen this on other podcasts and shows and all that, I've seen it talked about, like not necessarily Rainbow Six, but in the Counter-Strike universe, because you have like Gary's Mod and the people, the VR and all those kinds of things. Could you imagine Rainbow Six or Counter-Strike, it's along the same things, but VR, actually like good VR, like Rainbow Six / Counter-Strike, like that would be, I would love that. I would love to play Counter-Strike in VR.
I just can't say that that's what they're doing because it would be so, like if they
did
that right now,
so
it would be
fucking
bad.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like right now, it would be rough.
It would be so bad.
That's why I said like
Ubisoft can barely even make a new AAA game without it falling on its face somehow. So please don't attempt.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Please don't attempt to make anything VR related until you're actually ready.
Or they delay it
by
a year.
Well, that's the thing. Like they have a lot of smaller VR titles, but nothing. The fact that they're making they're pegging this as they're making a VR for one of their AAA titles is, there's only so many choices for them to choose from. I think like an expansion almost of a Far Cry that's VR. It would be my wager.
I don't think they're gonna go wrong with either Assassin's Creed or Far. Both of them.
Yeah, those are safe
fantastic
in my mind.
Yeah, I would. I don't know. Anyways, But yeah. So, moving right along. I don't know. I come back and chat. Again, guys, if we're not responding to chat, it's because we are doing a show. We love you, and we look over every 2 minutes or whatever, but we'll get to them. Again, there is a section in the Discord. I don't know if that's on the command yet, but if we are touching base on topics as we're moving right along through the show, definitely post in the Discord, and at the end of the show, we'll kind of touch back base with them a little bit. Again, thank you for all the follows, hosts, everything. Make sure that you're showing love to everybody around here, depending on no matter which channel you came in on. Show the love around to everybody. Moving forward with VR, the part that I'm most excited about, because you all know, even just this last Friday, we kind of did a little bit of throwback, and we were playing Half-Life 2. We were going to play Half-Life, but, you know, whatever. But official release date announcement for Half-Life Alyx. And this has multiple parts. For those of you guys not familiar with Half-Life, get your shit together. It's one of the best games ever. No, I understand. I had this conversation with people actually in my chat. Half-Life was one of the most influential games in modern gaming, but a lot of people didn't play because it was mainly a PC game. I think they did release like a Xbox or Xbox 360 version at some point, but if you didn't get to play it because you did not grow up a PC gamer, you grew up a console gamer, I understand, but buy yourself a PC, go back and play it.
I'm PC gamer now, so I'll put that on my list.
It is one of those. So Half-Life as a whole, and we'll get back to that. But just very simply, I said it the other day that Half-Life was the first FPS that wasn't Doom just run around and shoot things. Like Half-Life had story and characters that you cared about. It had puzzles. Awesome. It was the first
Tomb
one.
Raider of its time.
Well, yeah, pretty much. It did for what FPS. Yeah, it did for FPS, kind of what Tomb Raider did. The same kind of thing. It was just one of those landmark games in history, in gaming history, and that's why it's a great series. And Half-Life 2 even went above me on. That's why we were playing that. But the original Half-Life was the one that changed so much about how gaming was and what you thought of just a shooter and that and it set and that was like the first game that I fell in love with. My first game ever was Doom that I really played, but the game that made me fall in love with gaming, I was 8 years old when Half-Life came out, and I just never looked back. To me, it didn't really change the face of gaming because I had not been around for that much of gaming, but I know what it did for gaming history and everything. And it's just amazing. So, of course, Half-Life 3 is a constant meme in all gaming communities, how it will never be released. So that's why Half-Life Alyx was announced back in November, which is not a Half-Life 3, but it's the first installment of a Half-Life game in the Half-Life series since Half-Life Episode 2 in 2010-ish? Something like that. I don't know the exact thing. I should have looked that up. I wasn't expecting to talk all history of Half-Life. But yeah, around that time. So it's been quite a while since we've had anything Half-Life. And this is a new thing that's kind of a prequel to Half-Life 2, but it's all in VR. And it is being paired with the Steam, if you guys aren't familiar, also started and made Half-Life. Like there's a reason that Steam is as big as it is, and they are huge in the industry because of everything. But the new Valve Index, or Valve, not Steam, but the new Valve Index, which is a new VR headset that's coming out. And I actually have a website pulled up with pictures and all that if you guys have not seen it. So there's a couple different things on here to mention about it, but first thing, obviously, like I said, that comes out on the 24th, Half-Life Alyx. I'm super fucking excited.
Looks fancy.
But yeah, it's a huge total. Oh, why aren't you guys on here? Oh, I manually. That's because I was doing the things. Here we go. There we go. You guys can look now too. There they are, guys. Oh, this one doesn't resize. That's weird. All right. Well, you guys aren't as pretty here as you are on the other screens, but you know, well, I don't know why it doesn't use the same. It might not be copied. Either way, moving right along. Before I get annoyed with it, we're just gonna look forward. Before my OCD starts catching in, we're focusing forward. So Half-Life Alyx, like I said, it's being released. If you buy the Valve, it comes with this. Now, Half-Life Alyx can be played on other VR headsets, of course, but it is almost designed for this headset in play. It's a high-powered, it's very new age technology. If you haven't seen everything, there's a lot of things. has these cameras on the front, which right now are kind of more developer thing. But I think honestly, or not camera, but yeah, no, sorry, it is camera. These are 2 cameras on front, so you could see. I think that leads, like, there's no rumor for this. It's more kind of on the developer side, but it leads more towards. What'd you do, JoJo? That's on your end. That is on your end, not on mine.
I know.
There's like 17.
I don't know how to make it go away.
All right.
All our different faces.
I know. What is going on?
Oh, there we go. Fix it.
Oh. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go ahead and save that for later if it works. I don't know. We'll do that on my end too. But so it has the cameras here on the front, which there's no right now. It's just developer wise because of the way that they describe it for working in a computer virtual environment developer wise. But I could see that being really huge, like for augmented reality in the future, like more so. I think that would be really neat to actually have like things in your living room, kind of like that augmented reality type of thing, like fighting things in your living room, like because then it could display it and other things.
The first thing that came to mind with that is if something like made a noise, you could just click and look out.
Yeah, some way to just or if you need like just a second to like get out of VR, it would be kind of nice to, without having to take it off or whatever. But right now it's more on the developer side of it. But it's a lot of people are reviewing.
Is like a window.
So I think it is, but it's a mount for like other optional things from what I was reading. Like it's just kind of a way, yeah, exactly, for when you're welding. It's a place for, because there's a port right here, if I understand correctly, or it might be right here. So it's a kind of a plug-in kind of add-on kind of port more for developers and all that. I think right now there's nothing that really goes there now that's been released, but I think it's a there's a place for you to put things, in the future. I don't know what exactly that would be, but I guess
pocket.
Yeah, like to hold like a little, okay, this is a cartridge. I don't know, something. I don't know what exactly it is. They haven't released exactly, but it talks in here. It's more on the developer side, both those kinds of things. But the head strap, it's actually, even with the camera, it's supposed to be really light, even more comfortable. This article says, and a couple others, because I've looked into it quite a bit overall, than like the Rift and things like that. More pictures. The big thing technology-wise, obviously the headset, big thing technology-wise, though, is going to be the controllers that makes it different. So if you guys haven't seen, so it has like more of the traditional handhelds here, like on the bot, has an analog stick, that you hold on to, but it straps around your wrist, and actually there are these sensors and everything here.
Oh, those are sensors?
Yeah, so it'll actually, like, even if you...
wrist guard, so if you fell.
Even as you're getting into, like, the controller, it analyzes and senses your individual finger movement. That's something that's incorporated in, like, Alyx. So it's something that you don't have to hold on. Like, she's holding on to this right here, but you could just have your thumb, like, maybe on that part or whatever. But if you're grabbing something, you can actually grab it and close your fingers around whatever it is in the game, because all this is all sensor motion stuff. Like, as you even get close to putting your hands into this and move around. So it's supposed to be really accurate. Obviously I don't have my hands on it myself, but it's supposed to be almost individual finger articulation of, everything, of grabbing things, as they go along. In the VR world. And that being said, how many games utilize this moving forward is one thing that I see as being a challenge. Half-Life Alyx will, of course, but if you're developing a VR game, it's kind of like one of those things, almost like I have the Tobii eye tracker. Like, and not all headsets and Rifts and things like that. The the Rift, the other whatever ones there are off the top of my head, the Vive, all those have that technology. So I don't think developers are going to design around it, if that makes sense. I see that as being a challenge moving forward. But the biggest thing about this, obviously, I'm super fucking excited. I think this is a level of VR that I can get behind. I personally have not bought into VR right now, the way that it stands, because I think that there's not really enough there. I think it's kind of gimmicky. I don't like being on rails. I don't like the way it is, the place to move and all that. And that's what we're getting to here in a second. Here's what we're getting to in the second is...
me, that's always the thing.
And that's what it comes down to. Right now, and it's completely 100% sold out. And that's the thing. When they announced, and I'm going to sidebar the price for a second. When they announced this, the Valve Index had already been on sale. Nobody had bought it. Like, people had bought it, but it hadn't gone crazy. Last Christmas, after they announced Half-Life Alyx, that November going into December, completely sold out, still completely sold out. Sales went up 200%. I don't even see it being back on the shelves before Alyx comes out, personally.
Wow.
So I'm twofold on this, which is, me personally, do you guys think that those sales are because of Half-Life Alyx? Because there's people like me who are Half-Life fanboys, which I probably wouldn't buy this if it wasn't for Alyx. I'll be completely honest.
Well, yeah, because you said all the features were made for that game.
It is a tie-in. You buy this, and it comes with it. It comes with it that you could play it on other things. You buy the game standalone, but if you buy this headset, you get Half-Life Alyx, and you get to experience it 100%. And there are people like me out there who are Half-Life people and know the history of Half-Life, that I personally think that the sales aren't necessarily for the tech itself, more so because of Half-Life Alyx. That's my personal...
it's part of their game.
Yeah.
You'd have to have that. That makes sense.
But that being...
what's the price?
Yeah. That being said, it is a great piece of tech. The downside of this motherfucker is... It is $1,000 for the whole rig.
That.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
1,000?
It is $1,000 for the headset,
Half-Life?
the
No, thank you.
controllers.
That's
Not
what
that
the
good.
fucking Oculus almost cost when it came out.
It's $1,000. And when it first came out, that's the thing. So that's
But
what.
it's for one game. That's like buying. That's like.
Well,
being
no,
like,
you
oh,
can-
this
you can
game just
play-
came out, but
yeah.
you have to buy a whole new console for it.
Yeah. Well, and no, you don't have. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. But you're gonna be able to play other VR games. So if you're a VR junkie, and obviously this is the newest, this is the best VR tech right now. I think this is
Honestly,
the
I have
best
to
step
say,
up.
I'm not a VR junkie, but if I was gonna buy a VR, why wouldn't I buy the best one?
Exactly. I think
This one
this.
looks like it has everything the other ones have it and more. Plus, if you're a Half-Life junkie, it's right for that. So.
And that's the point that I was getting at. I wanted to kind of feature towards. Would you, if you were buying a headset right now, obviously Vive and all that is cheaper. Price even considering this coming out, this is, in my opinion, the best look at VR tech right now. The high top of the line has enough tech behind it and enough capabilities where I feel like I would buy VR. Would this be worth the jump? Oh, you guys went away. Oh, okay. So when I click you there on that screen, it goes away here.
Me and Pop are still here.
Yeah.
JoJo's gone.
Yeah, I'm gone. I don't know. What
There you go.
happened.
You're
Oh, there
back.
I am.
You're back. All right.
Going back.
So JoJo, you
Yeah.
think that it's, obviously it's $1,000 and that weighs into it. I have a hard time. I'm not gonna be able to buy it right away. But moving forward,
I don't
you're
know if I even can buy it. Like I don't have the room in my house for VR. I have 1,000 kids. Like it would get broken. It would, there's just no space. So I'm not the kind of consumer that can buy VR.
Yeah.
Or I totally would. I would buy the fuck out of VR.
Yeah.
If I get a bigger house later, then sure. But even just this room is barely big enough because I had a friend bring an Oculus over, and where the sensors go, there's barely space in this room for that. And this is the only room in the house we could do it. So
yeah, I did see like the sensors that are coming with this are even better than the current generation of sensors. That's one of the things they talk about in the article, and like specs wise in comparison. So of course, this is just an upgrade all across the board. But I agree. Pop, I don't know if you've ever experienced in VR, like really. I haven't. So
the reason that I would be hesitant is just for the fact that I feel like it's such an up and coming technology that 6 months we're gonna have something better, and then 6 more months you'll have kind of like how I think of it like how TVs have, when they first dropped a flat screen TV, it was like $2,000 for a 40-inch, and now you can get like a 55-inch, top of the line for like what, $500 or something crazy. That I just feel like but that's because they solidified the technology, and they pretty much while they're still making better and better TVs, the jump isn't as big. And I just feel like it's so new that something even more amazing for $1,000 is going to come out in a short amount of time, and this is going to be the next $400 console that you get.
I could agree with that.
What my thought is about that, because I thought the exact same thing, but then I thought we're all idiots because we do the exact same thing for graphics cards and CPUs, and those are all like $1,000 for a graphics card.
My
and then
graphics
6
card
months
cost
later,
me
the
what,
video's like, this
15,
one's
$1,600?
Limited to one game with my graphics card.
Well, you're not limited to one game with
Yeah.
it. This is just the newest. This is just the newest one.
Yes. Because what you said that the only reason that those controls have the thing is for Half-Life.
Well,
you were saying that other games haven't implemented it, and you said it'd also be a challenge for them to implement that. So
I don't know if it would be a challenge. Maybe challenge isn't the right word, but I think designing it around it, they designed Half-Life around this new technology. But I think that you probably going into these other games would be able to more easily pick up things. I'm just assuming it would be easier to interact even in current games than you would now.
Well, they'll probably
I would say.
I'm
Just
sure
it should be a simple
coming out with better controllers that have those sensors for people with those headsets already. Like it'd be like it's going to be to the point where they're going to completely immerse you in these games, I think, in a few years.
I actually was going to bring you in, Warlock, but then I was like trying to figure out. We can touch back base on this next week, going back to you. But I thought about last minute bringing you in because I know you would have a heyday with this. Warlock, for you guys who haven't realized one of the things we talked about last week, I'm gonna do once or twice a month when we're doing these shows. Warlock is gonna be our resident tech talkie expert, and we're gonna have tech time with Warlock or something. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so Shredder officially. I think we already kind of got your answer in between the others, but
I'm just
Shredder's a no.
Yeah.
I'm a yes if I was rich and had a nice
I'm not a no. I'm not a no. I don't see myself getting one for that price. Like right now.
I would wait.
I've been
think
so
it's
dicked
great.
on by other things, other products, where it's like I spent $100 on a game because I'm like, I want the special edition, and then that game busts, and then now it's $3
Yeah.
Poor Shredder's
we've done
He's a
I was in the same way.
Shredder's a former Division main. It happens. He's still.
Hey, we talked about this last week. I'm with you, Shredder. Our pain is validated. Okay, our pain.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I have the Xbox side too, and I know when that Elite 2 came out, I was like. Everyone was so excited for the Elite Series 2, and I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
See, and so I'm starting to get that mindset where I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it right away.
Yes,
I will wait for the price to drop.
You want reviews. You want people like Warlock coming in.
Yep.
And they get it first, and they give you that breakdown of everything, and you just trust them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then if they say, get it, then you're like, all right.
Well, that's what I honestly would love to. By the time we get this show up a little bit more, I'd love to actually get developers and be like, hey, send me something, we'll talk about it on the show, I'll demo the shit, but that's once we get this a little more set up. But I would love to
have a developer come in and be like, hey,
just Skype call it,
we need some more info on it.
And have people have skeptics on it, okay, I'm a little worried about this, and then they sell it, it's great advertisement, as well as you get you put them on the spot, you get the real raw.
Yeah, and I think I agree most probably with Pop in this segment, because if it wasn't for the fact that this had Half-Life attached to it, I am constantly a almost skeptic of VR. I still don't think that it's to the point, and I think chat mentioned this as well earlier. VR is not to a point where I want to endorse it yet, and I see myself playing it very often. I don't think the technology's there.
I think it's great, but I don't think it's at the point where
I wouldn't be able to stream it because I don't have. I just don't. I couldn't stream it. I couldn't do this. It would be maybe a fun kind of gimmicky party game, but how often do I play those?
So
I have Jackbox,
set up VR. If my dad bought a VR system, I would have to go over there and set it up for him.
Yeah.
It really needs to be fine-tuned to the point where average consumers can just eat it up, and it's
more
easy to go.
user-friendly.
And
Plug and play.
I want they did this in the 2000s or actually even late 90s, back when malls were still a thing, 2000s. Why do we not have some way, albeit it would be expensive, but why have we not gotten the technology in our homes yet to actually have VR not be on rails? I remember having the little pods that you could go into, and I get it, it's a big piece of hardware, it would be expensive, but by this day and age, we probably could have made it work better, where you're you walk and it's on one of those little cylinders. Did anybody remember those? So you would walk forward, but you would be just a strapped into this thing, but you could actually walk around and turn all the way around and everything. Give me
to do that.
Give me a
and they
booth
got so
in
much
my
shit
home.
for it.
Yeah, give me a booth in my home where I could actually walk and have it not be on rails, not have to use an analog stick, whatever. Then I will be playing VR all the time. I want to crouch and have my character in fucking Halo or whatever it is crouch, like without pressing a button on my VR. Well, you know, I want to walk forward in this little pod and actually walk.
I
mean, that's what it's definitely gonna get to.
Yeah.
I don't play VRs. Are they? Because I remember trying one out at like some demo. And I would move my hand, and then there would be like a little delay, and that used to get me, like, I get motion sickness really easily, and that would mess with me, because it's like your brain, you're doing one thing, and then all of a sudden it happens like a second later. Have they really fine-tuned that, or is that still a problem that VRs have?
As far as I know, it's a hell of a lot better. I've done it like once or twice, really, and I don't see like really.
Oculus just a couple months ago, and there was no. Like,
there wasn't any. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
See, that was always my thing
almost
that turned
too
me off
real.
from them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard you have to like be careful about playing VR too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, when you take it off, you feel like your world is still spinning. You know, like you get off of a ride or something. Yeah.
Because I see, and that's another reason. Like, so maybe I'm just biased because I know that I probably won't ever play VR. Like, I might try it out if I'm at someone's house, like JoJo said.
Yeah.
It's like Mario
cool.
Party. Nobody has Mario Party unless it's for the
except
sole purpose of having people come over to play it.
And that's where VR is right now. Yeah, and it's great. Like, but that's where VR is right now. It's still kind of that party gimmicky almost thing. Like, I don't see hardcore gamers really playing in VR.
A super beefy computer to do it too. Like even the Oculus, like we had to do it on my computer because like Nick's computer in the living room wasn't beefy enough, and it's only a couple years old. So it's just like it's dumb that the requirements are going up and up, and the prices seem to be going up, not down, and it's not getting any easier.
That's another reason is, like you were saying, you're gonna have to upgrade. You're gonna have to beef up your computer just to use it as well.
Constantly, yeah.
So,
and you know, I had to just touch in with chat here a little bit. I would say, like I said, I was agreeing with Pop. The other side of it, if it wasn't for Half-Life, I wouldn't be as invested in this. I really would love just a good friend of mine to just buy this so that way I could like go over and play it at theirs. So that way I don't have to. But so that way I could play it.
It's like back in the day, your friend got a Nintendo 64 and you're like, hey, we're best friends, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I need somebody rich to just buy this and me go over to their place. But the other side of it is, I think, like I was starting to say, this is the best representation of VR I have seen so far that I can almost get behind outside of Half-Life. If I had the money to just randomly drop, this might be one I would consider getting. I think somebody has to start taking it to the next level. I think the iteration of VR before the hand controllers, everything else is very basic. It's you have a screen in front of your face and you can move. I think we have to, somebody has to start taking it to the next level in some way, shape, or form. You know, that's and otherwise I just don't see. I think like Pop said, I think it still stays gimmicky, just kind of like 3D in fucking movies. Like, you know, it comes and goes every couple years.
I like watching 3D movies.
I hate 3D movies.
Pisses me off.
I would like 3D movies, but I wear real glasses,
Right.
So it's way too hard to wear 3D glasses on top of your real glasses. And that's one of the same problems I have with VR. The couple times I have played it, it's just like you have to adjust the angle of the screen inside with the buttons to your face, and because you have glasses on, it's never perfect, or it looks kind of blurry.
Yeah, if you go to a 3D movie, you have to sit in the perfect spot. If you're off to the side watching a 3D movie, you're fucked.
Terrible.
You know, they need to just make a movie theater just for 3D if they're gonna do it. There's just one really long of like 10 seats and just you know, 3D movie for next.
Need to be popping out at me.
Yeah. So
I do enjoy it.
Interesting. So I don't know. I like it. That's why I figured this would be one of those that we got a good talk out of this week. The biggest thing, obviously, is that $1,000 price tag, most monetarily, and I'm
you're right. If Half-Life wasn't attached to that, nobody would give any fucks about this.
Yeah, I don't think it would have the draw it is. But this is the first Half-Life anything in 10 years.
Half-Life fans are so ruthless though. They're like, new VR, it's the best.
But all of a sudden I'm excited for VR because I'm a Half-Life person. And this is what he said. The article.
You think the company did that on purpose? They were like, well, this might not sell, so let's include Half-Life.
I think somebody decided somebody weaseled their way in that was a huge Half-Life fan that was still high enough and was like, hey, we should get in on this VR thing. I have an idea to make a Half-Life thing. And because there were articles that I read that since they are revisiting now, again, there's a lot of people still wanting to go back on the Half-Life and get back into the Half-Life universe. They are still wanting to get back into it. So I really hope this sells well. This fucking just sells out to high heaven, and Alyx is the best-selling, and Valve Index is the best-selling thing ever, because god damn it, I want my Half-Life 3. I want Valve.
I wonder how biased the reviews will be too for people who are, you know, fangirling. You know, I'm sure
one.
Because and people have been, you know, obviously anticipating this.
Yeah.
So when they go to play it, they're just going to be so happy to, you know, be playing Half-Life in this new expansion that I wonder if they're really going to be able to break it down and analyze it past just another game, like, you know, the individual finger movements. Are they really gonna?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because
because it's gonna be easy to dismiss those technical things because you're like, I'm playing Half-Life. This is amazing.
I mean, that's a very good point, because I don't know. I'm normally very subjective, or try to be, when even games that I love, but I don't know that I could do that with Half-Life. I am going to be back in that world, and I am just going to... I think Half-Life is that one series for me, because it was so amazing. Like, but that being said, I think I would be able to be subjective enough. If it was bad, it would ruin every memory I had of Half-Life. It would just tarnish everything. But I think that there's enough people in the company still that just... I would hope that obviously it's going to be a VR, but I don't want it to be a Fallout 76. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Please.
Please.
Are you able to play this game without VR too, though?
No, it is a VR only game.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna have to find some friends with
VR headset. That's it.
I'm gonna have to find some friends with VR and have them buy it and go play it on their Rift.
They're like, yo, this is the worst game ever.
I don't care.
Can't believe they did this. Just plug your ears.
I don't care. I'm just gonna. It's Half-Life. It's a la 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 Half-Life la la la. You know, that's so because you can play it on the Rift and everything else. So I think the marketing side is great. Yeah,
I mean, if you can play it on other,
you can play it on other things. Yeah, you just won't get as.
It's not so bad. I mean, it's weird that it's VR only. I think they kind of are losing a lot of their base with that. Because like me, I would have bought it, but now.
Oh yeah, I would. But but that's what I'm saying. I hope this does well enough, and the pencil pushers at the very high up see that it does well enough, so that way there's enough people that can be like, all right, let's move forward with Half-Life 3. Because god damn it, I want that meme to die. I want Half-Life 3 to be a thing. Fuck. I have ex-girlfriends from high school.
God, I hope the Half-Lifers get what they want one day.
I have ex-girlfriends from high school that still send me like Half-Life 3 fucking memes. All right, like it's like that's bad.
Me with like Left 4 Dead 3, you know, like the other Valve games, they never get any love. Valve's
no, it's
like Valve's the ultimate cockblock.
It really is. It really fucking is. And Valve is so good though. Like it's just so like the games that they have are just so great.
They just announced Left 4 Dead 3 like a couple months ago, right?
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Yes. I'm afraid they're gonna fuck it up though, so I don't talk about it. They will. They fucked up Left 4 Dead 2. I did not like it at all.
I mean, I don't know that they fucked it up.
They added too much to it. I think they added too much and they overdid it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's different time, different
story.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
we'll get closer to that.
yeah, when it's exactly. We'll talk it when it's a little more in the news and all that. Yeah. Let's say like obviously this like I said, this is one of those that.
By daylight.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like obviously this was near and dear to my heart because of Half-Life, but yeah, I think the VR side of it is. Is definitely an intro from it. A couple quick things. Also going back, blast from the past, talking about Half-Life. Those of you older gamers out there as well. If you did not see this past week in the news, somebody randomly released screenshots and also now a video on YouTube of StarCraft Ghost. And if you guys remember this, was originally announced in 2001. This game, if you were like StarCraft and everything, 2001 was scrapped by 2004, but actually was supposed to be on the Xbox and then the Xbox 360. And there's actually gameplay footage of it, and it is funny because we're 15 plus years later, and this is randomly coming up. Like somebody just randomly found this an old dev kit and everything, like pictures of StarCraft. Ago, right? Yeah, like 3 days ago this came out, which I was so excited for this fucking game. I was a huge StarCraft person. This was before StarCraft 2, This was before, you know, the original StarCraft Ghost. This was supposed to be an over-the-shoulder game where you played as one of the ghosts, like the Nova ghosts or whatever they technically were called, the Nova people in that. And then it got scrapped randomly. But then there's this whole thing of like you have the screenshots here, and then then also I even have like a pull up like, and it looks like a game from 2000 something. It looks like here, hold on, I gotta actually do it to you guys. Hold on. Whoop. Not you guys, like but those, you guys stream. But it looks like a game from 2000 on the Xbox. Like, I mean, it does. The original Xbox. Yeah, the original Xbox. I mean, that's what it was supposed to originally come out. But I mean, it's
like Oblivion.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, obviously this is a ghost, like, you know, obviously doing their thing, and then she's getting ready to take on. I'm assuming those are Zerglings, you know, and she like they're whatever. Like, so.
Looks dope though. I don't know why I'm getting Splinter Cell vibes from this too.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
You're getting what?
Or Time Splitters.
Oh, yeah, like the original Time Splitters, like kind of vibe. But yeah, all of them in this era kind of had that feel, though. I don't think it was, I think, yeah.
Really did.
Yeah,
Very,
all the
like,
2000.
Yeah, like electronic-y mech.
What are they aiming at? What is
I know, that was my thing when I was watching this. I was like, how are you aiming? Like, how bad is your aim?
Well, let's be fair, we don't really know the
That's a widow. That is 100% a Widowmaker skin for Overwatch. Blizzard is reusing skins.
Well, hey, there we go. There's that inside knowledge right there. This was in somebody's file. Here's the old school StarCraft.
That is the Nova skin right there. That's what I use on my Widowmaker.
Okay, you need to at Blizzard. You need to at.
Can we get a Google picture?
Yeah, I would say hold on. Yeah, hold on. Wait. So what's the skin? Hold on. Yeah. What's the
Nova Widowmaker?
Oh well, yeah, because Nova. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, I don't play Overwatch, but yeah, Nova was actually her name. That was the character, so that's why.
So that makes sense.
You didn't.
It was her skin.
Yeah, it literally was her skin. Yeah, has been added to Overwatch. New skin. Yeah, it was. Yeah, in celebration of StarCraft's 20th anniversary. Yeah. And Sarah, yeah, it was modeled after Kerrigan, the actual, yeah. So yeah, it actually is a thing.
I didn't know that was her name.
We thought we busted the conspiracy.
Yeah, no, it was actually like, you were onto something, yeah. Oh, you did contribute, like that was good though. Like I wouldn't have noticed because I don't play Overwatch, but yeah, so that was.
I didn't notice either.
That's fucking funny.
So, but yeah, I think that it's funny that after 15 years this comes out, it has like little searching things. I just think it's random that Blizzard, one of the highest point in Blizzard news over the past however many months that we've been dealing with Blizzard being Blizzard. We talked a little bit about that last year or the year before. Is about a 15-year-old game because Blizzard has been letting us down, and we talked about that I think last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't know, whenever the fuck we last talked about. But I thought that was a lot of us older gamers, older PC gamers, and a lot of that were excited about this game. I saw chat, people were saying I had it pre-ordered, and then it just randomly went to nothing. And just after 15 years, there's all these things on YouTube. I'll put up the couple links that I'm showing if you guys want to watch the full video. This is like a 7-minute thing. There's also like a 14-minute thing with cinematics. All these links I'll have up in my Discord that we're talking about today of any of the videos, because we won't watch like the whole thing. We'll kind of like get snippets. I have it queued up. But if you are interested in all that, I think it's just kind of interesting, something that blasts from the past 15 plus years later. I mentioned so yeah, I know they've been putting in chat, but if you do have like any questions or anything as we're going through topics and all that, definitely in the Discord I have a whole section. We'll touch back on them later. Of course, we are in the middle of trying to do a show-ish thing, whatever you want to call it, hanging out, having fun. So we may not always answer your questions right away about topics. So if we don't touch base on them, definitely show them, throw them up in the Discord, and we'll get back to them a little bit later, barring other random nonsense. But very quickly, next, after StarCraft, the other thing announced this week I saw was Control, which actually touches a little close to home for some of us. I don't know if you realize it. So I found Control, for those of you guys didn't play. Control was an amazing game. I played through it right before West. Fucking amazing game. Can't say enough about it. I actually found it at Guardian Con last year. Ironically enough, through Stein. Stein was actually standing out front. I think he was their community marketing person or something for the company that did Control. And so I didn't recognize him, but I did, and all that kind of thing. And it was like I was there for like an hour, and then I played this game and absolutely loved it. So Shredder, you played it. JoJo, Pop, did either of you guys play Control at all? It was on Game
downloaded
Pass,
it,
I
had
think.
every intention of playing it, and
You
I didn't.
You should. You.
It's a really fun
I
game.
actually watched a lot of gameplay about it.
It's
though.
fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I mean, it was for like 2 weeks straight. Everyone I found that I wanted to host was playing Control. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll just watch this game instead of play it.
Game. Yeah, that is the only thing when you have games like this. Like, it's like, do you watch or do you play? Because everybody's already seen everybody else play through it. But so
when a game that comes out that's story based, I play it off stream first.
Yeah, and I know like you're big on that.
Because of people trying to troll and drop those what do you call it?
Spoilers.
Oh my, spoilers. There it is.
And you got onto me about vendors, motherfucker. Don't even.
Vendors is a lot harder than spoilers, okay?
Exactly. I didn't remember vendors.
And I knew vendors. I didn't know spoilers. Spoilers was a hard one for me.
All right.
Got locked up in there.
So, but the thing about that is, so they released earlier this week that, you know, it's doing well. They obviously added it to Game Pass. If you guys haven't played it, definitely check it out. Amazing game, all in all. They have 2 planned DLCs, like paid for DLCs, coming out this year here soon. I don't know the exact dates. I don't think they are exact dates released.
Oh, for Control? Nice.
Yeah, but they do have also the thing that jumped up this week in the news is that they, with the interest in it, they are planning on doing more games and making Control an IP more than just a game. So not just Control 2, but they're wanting to expand the universe, because if you guys have played it, it's a kind of not paranormal, more extra dimensional. There's a lot of extra dimensional kind of things that go on, both in the old house where you're centralized, but then also outside in the greater world. And a lot of the developers actually worked on, and there are Easter eggs and allusions to Alan Wake. I don't know if any of you guys ever played Alan Wake back in the day. Anybody?
Alan Wake.
Same developers who made that, a lot of them worked on Control. And so there's even references to Alan Wake. Alan Wake was a great game.
Did. I'm a pussy when it comes to scary games.
Okay, I like it.
When it got dark, oh man. I was like BRB, and I just like paused stream and walked away for 10 minutes. Like I couldn't do it.
Yeah, Alan Wake was an original Xbox or 360 game. Absolutely amazing storytelling game. Very, very focused on story and all. And I think that's what I liked about Control.
I played it on PC, which is I played it like way after it came out. I bought it on Steam.
Yeah. So I didn't know that it came out on PC, but I mean that makes sense. Probably later it probably did.
Humble bundle.
Oh, nice. But yeah, so it's definitely worth Control picking up. Obviously, Alan Wake. The thing that I'm curious and excited about is if they are revisiting and making Control an IP, they already put Alan Wake in this universe.
Awesome.
It's already there are Easter eggs and everything else in this universe. Yeah.
But you also have to buy a $1,000 VR headset. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, this one's only $599. This one's only $599. So
damn bundles.
Yeah.
Damn bundles.
So you know what? For that, I might actually.
Alan Wake was great. Alan Wake really
was great. I don't think that game
underrated game.
It really
was very underrated.
It was so good.
It is fucking hard.
About a year ago, I was trying to do a challenge for myself. I was trying to beat 100 games in a year. And Alan Wake was on there, and I hadn't touched that game in forever, and it just reminded me of how great that game was. And then when I saw you playing Control, I was like, okay, I gotta get Control as well.
That's the whole time. I didn't realize that it was the same people until after I already started playing and everything. I did not know.
Makes sense now.
It was, once I started playing, I was like, man, I feel like I'm playing Alan Wake. And I think somebody in chat was like, yeah, it's actually a lot of the same developers. And I was like, what? Because that was like my first thought. I was like, I used to love Alan Wake. So I had no idea. Yeah, I didn't know either. So, but it's not, they're trying to make it an IP. So maybe we see more another Alan Wake game. Maybe we see more things along that line in that universe. So it's going to be interesting to see Remedy, how they move forward in that, making this into like an IP, not just a standalone game, making it into a whole universe, you know.
I feel like I wish more game developers would put their different games and make it one multiverse.
Yeah, yeah, the same
like,
kind of
I don't know, like that would make things so much just more relatable. People really, really, really love the nostalgia factor, and I think a lot of companies really miss the mark on that. Like you could be like, you would totally sell me on a game like Control if you mentioned that it was in universe with Alan Wake. I'd be like, oh,
if I had known that, I would have been almost as excited as Half-Life I was a minute ago, because I loved Alan Wake like that much. Like maybe not Half-Life level, but I touted Alan Wake to one of my favorites. I had friends, I guess, actually, now that I think about it, I guess I was a streamer before I was a streamer. I had friends come over to my fucking house and watch me play fucking Alan Wake because I loved it, and it was just that great of a game. The story was that good. They just sat there on the couch next to me, watched me play it because I owned it, because it was that great of a game.
Alan Wake was one of the first games I ever streamed.
Yeah. That was...
Ever. So many years ago.
Yeah. so many years ago.
I never had friends like that would come over and watch me play a single player game.
Oh no, I had like 2. This was back in after college. Alan Wake came out.
The only thing close to that is I had friends come over and we would take turns playing GTA 3. So it was like whenever you died, you had to hand the controller off.
Busted.
Did Alan Wake come out?
Yeah.
GTA 3, I love that game.
Oh my god.
What was the
cheat codes to give myself more health.
I bought it in my city.
I bought the pack too. Alan Wake came out in 2010.
Sounds about right. Alan Wake 2 probably. Alan Wake 2 probably was like 2012 or 13. So I mean, it's not that old of a game. It's a 10-year-old game, which
it's really not
isn't that old, realistically.
It's a good play.
Yeah.
If you haven't played Alan Wake,
It's
please
really
play
fun.
that.
Yeah.
It is.
Add it to your
very
list, guys.
underrated.
It's worth it to go back. It's such a great story. It's one of those.
And after you're done with Alan Wake, play Control.
Yeah, definitely play Control, which I think it's still on Game Pass. I don't know why it would be removed.
Until you play.
Yeah, no, you can play either one.
They don't intertwine yet, but there's
but that would be interesting to see if they did. Yeah, I only found out afterwards about Alan Wake being in the universe after I'd already played Control, or was playing Control. Control is completely standalone.
Things, though, where if you played Alan Wake first and then Control, you might pick up on
more things.
Well, maybe there's things in there that we would have never seen.
So that's what's funny about that is I'm actually going to my Game Pass to find Control again. Because I
didn't get it on Game Pass. I got a key for it, so I just have it. But I have to re-download it.
I'm JoJo. I get keys for things to play games.
He flexes on us. It's okay.
JoJo likes to flex on us. What we got off stream? What was it, last week? And she's like, "Oh yeah, here's the picture of me with so and so." Well, who was it?
Filled out the same survey from Mixer. That's who gave it to me. So.
Oh, that was before I was wee little Kdog then.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
Not you.
Not you. You're
from Arsenal,
maybe. I just lost the end of my pen because I was messing with it in the desk. The tip of my pen just lodged itself in the desk.
Oh, the cat will find it.
Anyways, but yeah, no, Control you could play 100% standalone. It's not a requirement, but I guess it's in and I found actually one of the documents. There's like 1 or 2 documents that just reference the happenings in Alan Wake. They're like, oh, in this whatever town or whatever, this is going on. Like it's kind of like Easter eggy, but it puts it in the same universe, which is kind of cool. So it would be nice to see an Alan Wake 3 or other things just along those same lines. But definitely check out Control if you have not, and all that. Also, this week we had
so excited.
Past. I know JoJo's like, ooh. I know, like I was excited too. Like when I saw it, that's why I was like talking about it. This past week
I read the article, but I don't know.
Well, that was like some of the little, because you didn't realize the IPs that it could be, because you didn't know about the tie-in with Alan Wake.
The article you sent me earlier, but I missed that one line that says it's related to Alan Wake. I'm like, damn,
I don't know that it's even in the article. I just knew that. I don't know that it's in the article, but I just personally knew that because
it literally says it in parentheses.
It does. Okay, it is in parentheses.
Yeah, see, like you missed it too.
I skimmed it. All these articles, guys, like when I'm looking for things every week, I try not to do just like simple things, but I try to make things that, obviously people can relate to, but it's like also all these articles, like I skim through them, then I read back through them later, but it's like, all right, paragraph. So fucking the other one is we had the beta for whatchamacallit this week, Bleeding Edge, this past week.
Bleeding Edge.
I did not play it at all.
I think I'm the only one here that did play
JoJo played it. Pop, did you play it?
No, I just heard a bunch of people asking me about it. I was like,
okay,
no
so
idea.
JoJo, tell us about the game.
I didn't even know it was a thing until the night the beta was ending. So I had like 6 hours to play it, but I played it all of those 6 hours. It was so good. To me, it feels like if Overwatch and like Smite had a baby, kind of. But it's just like it's PvP 4v4 arena, and I don't know, like it just felt so rounded. I really love all the characters.
Is it melee only?
No, there is range.
No.
Okay.
There's long range, there's shooters. It has a Borderlands art style, like very comic-y with like cell shading, and it's very, very nice. It's not perfectly balanced. Obviously, no arena game is when it first comes out, but I don't know. All the characters I played, even if I wasn't good at them, it was just so fun. I don't know. It was just great. I highly suggest.
Play it, so.
There's another beta. Let me see if I can find my dates. There's another beta coming out for it on. The open beta is March 13th or 12th, something like that. It's like in those 13, 14, 15s. It's one of those days, and then the game comes out on March 24th. And
it is very Borderlands like.
I am so excited to. So click on the little. Oh, is that just a video?
I just say, I don't have the volume going while we're talking. This is just like a review.
There's a little old lady. Her name is Maeve.
Yeah, it made me think of Maeve from Paladins, and I'm like, oh, it's Maeve, all grown up.
She is my favorite character because she's like, she puts the people in these little bird cages, and she goes tweet, tweet. It's like so cute. I love it so much. It was so fun.
Yeah,
that's why I thought it was only melee because
it's very far from only melee.
I did
that guy's only melee, but they all, I don't know, the moves just feel really good and rounded, and there's a little bit of everything. There's like 4 or 5 healers, there's 4 or 5 tanks, and there's like 5 or 6 like DPSers, and it's just so good.
I watched a couple reviews kind of thing, and this is one of them that I actually just left the video up on because it had actual gameplay rather than the actual trailer for it. Melee sounds great. It's a fighter more so, like imagine like Overwatch as a fighter. Kind of is the vibe that I got on it. It's not,
but with the emphasis
third-person fighter
shooting.
Yeah, it's a brawler. You're like an action game.
There's 1 or 2 shooters, and then there's it's very much kind of brawler-like.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm trying to find like the perfect thing to compare it to, but it doesn't have one area. Like it just kind of hits a lot of bases.
I did see a lot of people say, just feedback from the beta, that the low points are. Like this guy right here, if you are playing somebody who is a ranged character, it's kind of, I don't want to say boring, but I saw a lot of it, it's kind of just slow if you're playing ranged, just because a lot of the action is, those melee characters getting up in there and bobbing and weaving.
Looks
and
like a support too, though. Like, it looks like he's
so that guy is a healer, so he's heavily targeted.
Yeah.
So in this video, he has a lot of people just fucking chasing him. So he's. In all the games I played, if you were that healer specifically, he was heavily targeted. I played this girl right here.
I was thinking that too.
Looking chick. I played her when I first started. She was a little boring for me, but I switched to Maeve, and I had the best time.
So that goes.
I was dropping 30 kills on the enemy team with like a little old granny. It was so great.
I mean, that's like most games. Like you're gonna find a character that you mesh well with, and
And there's a tank character that is a big old busty thick woman, and she's phenomenal too.
Oh yeah, she's like on the cover of the game too.
Like,
so she has this dancing emote called Shimmy. I obviously, for obvious reasons, won't do it, but yeah, it's pretty nice.
I can't wait.
Why not?
She's great.
Content, Jojo, content.
No, I'm not gonna shimmy.
All right, Pop, birthday shimmy.
Plus, she's like 4 times larger.
Shimmy, I just don't know what the hell.
I don't know what it is either. I want to see what a shimmy. I want to see what a shimmy looks like.
It's like this.
Faster. You have to make it jiggle.
I know.
It's really great. There's custom boards for them to ride on. There's
the past podcast and speed it up.
Yeah, exactly. When we edit this later in post, we're just gonna speed it up a little bit. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
You're gonna have to speed his up a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It'll look all natural.
Close to the shimmy though? Like, was that the shimmy or no?
I like that he has a hoverboard.
No.
Yeah, so a lot of them do have hoverboards.
It's a tit shake.
So it's kind of
like Paladins,
Storm?
or so you have like a way to get into combat from spawn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So everybody has a mount of some kind. It's either a hoverboard.
Oh, there's big girl. Oh yeah, she's thick. Yeah. Hey girl. How you doing?
So she
kind of sexy.
Character design.
Oh, she's the one that has the shimmy.
Ooh, I like her.
She just like she does. It's so awesome.
It's what's her face from Borderlands.
The only thing I don't like about her character design.
Ellie.
No. Oh, you're talking about Borderlands?
I said Borderlands.
Ellie?
Yeah, Ellie. Yeah, it's fucking Ellie from Borderlands.
That's my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the only thing I don't like about that specific character design is I played her. She looks great, and everything about her character is great, but she has this really hick Southern accent, and I'm like, that does not go with her style. So it kind of threw me off.
I don't know. She's got the curlers going on. She looks like she's had 8 kids. She looks
maybe a little bit.
She looks like she's sitting on that front porch. That's a scooter right there. That is a scooter right there. That's a moped that she takes to Walmart. No, that is a moped she takes to Walmart. All right, that is the curlers in the hair. She is dating this scrawny guy right here. That's her husband. All right, I'm just telling you that right now. She is Southern girl. That is scrawny.
In West Virginia.
That is I could see it very much. That's so that actually she has that same tattoo on her thigh back from when she was skinny before the first kid. It's right here. It's I can 110% see it.
But I really think that like everyone should give this game a try. I'm super picky about my arena games. Like when I play Smite, I only play arena and I don't play like a handful of characters. I don't like Overwatch like literally at all. It was just too much going on and not as much focused on this fighting style that I wanted. So I didn't like Overwatch as much. But I really, really thoroughly enjoy this game.
That's cool.
So
and
I
and you said there's
like,
another.
If I had to rate it right now, just after a beta, I would give it a solid 8.5. That's
nice. That's solid.
For the beta, that's solid.
I had so much fun. I didn't experience any bugs.
About it.
Yeah, it was great.
And it's coming out on Game Pass. It is going to be cross-play, which also I didn't realize and I was looking into it.
Interesting.
So, but
I didn't know if it was going to be cross-play or cross-save. So everyone that was asking me, I just didn't say. But I know
from
it's
what I
cross-save
read,
at least.
From what I read is that it's cross-play. And
cross-play would be very nice. And it makes sense because when you go into the menu, it's just an Xbox friends list that pops up to
yeah, and
so I figured it would be cross-play.
So. And I don't think it's going to be an issue with being cross-play either. And I think Microsoft's moving more towards this. We'll touch base with the whole cloud thing that we're getting to.
When you load the game up, that it's heavily suggested to use a controller.
Yeah, and that's what I say. Like this does not seem like if I use mouse and keyboard. Yeah, it doesn't. You're not aiming. It looks like there's a lock-on ability. It looks like you're there. It looks like a controller
you can
arcade
targets,
brawler.
Even with a mouse and keyboard, it auto chooses your target based on where you're looking and shooting, but there's no precision to it at all. You can, it's just which general area you're looking. You click a button and it changes to that target.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't matter if
there's no you have more control with a mouse. You can
none of that. Your DPI doesn't matter. None of that stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. Aim assist versus
It's very well rounded. They thought about it a lot.
We need that guy in chat back.
That chick's name is Buttercup. I just realized. Okay. I remembered. Okay. But yeah.
No. I'm glad you told me that because now I'm gonna look up her shimmy.
Buttercup shimmy. If you find it, throw the link.
Look it up, though. You have to do it, Shredder. You have to. Fix
I would say, throw it through the Discord chat. I'll pull it up for everybody if you find a link for it. But that's cool. I didn't get to play it, unfortunately.
Buttercup shimmy. The first thing that pops up is a lady in Walmart. So
that's fucking awesome. That is great. See, I told you that she would fit in great in Walmart.
That's hilarious.
So JoJo was the only one that got to play it. If I had known that Friday night, I asked.
The highlight of my last week. I'm gonna be honest.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's huge. I would have loved to have played it. I thought, last week I was a little strapped on cash, so people were like, "Oh, well, why don't you play this on Friday night?" And I was like, "I can't pre-order a game that I don't really know much about just to play a beta, yada yada. I'm just gonna hold off." Nobody said in my Discord, "Hey, it's on Game Pass. It's free to fucking play." Until I find out 7 o'clock as I'm getting ready to end stream on Friday, 7 o'clock, Sunday morning, and I'm like, "Oh. Well, shit, if I had known that, we would have been playing that all Friday night. That would have been a fun game to play." Yeah.
She doesn't ride a motorcycle. She rides a unicycle.
It's a unicycle, yeah. But, she leans forward on it and it transforms when she gets into mount mode.
Oh, yeah,
ooh, mount mode. I like that.
Yeah,
that's hot.
Like you would, in Heroes of the Storm, you get on your horse or whatever.
Yeah. She has the front wheel in her hand.
It's a front wheel, and she puts her hands together, and it turns into a motorcycle, and she rides off.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's literally dope. They did really good with all the designing for it.
It says Buttercup, not to be confused with Roadhog.
I feel like they're cousins.
What's so crazy is that with Overwatch, I took forever to finally pull the trigger on that one, just because I'm like, God, it looks like such a child's game, like but then when you play it, like you totally forget. And then like looking at this, I'm like, oh, like it has that Borderlands, but when you play Borderlands and when you look at that, like, like it's so weird how different it is when you're playing the game and how when they do the actual design, how perfect they nail it. But if you're just looking at it from the outside, like never having played
Borderlands
the game,
graphics are fucking amazing. Yeah. It's the art style looks childish, but the graphics, if you actually like pay attention, the graphics are fucking amazing in that game.
They nail it. And so it's like you don't get the true like genius behind the design until you actually play it, and then you're like, wow, they got this down to the T.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree 110%. I never got much into Overwatch. I've only ever played it like when it's been on free weekends. I remember when it first came out. I remember when it first came out, it also released the same time as Battleborn, if you guys remember that. I enjoyed Battleborn more. Problem is, they were two separate games that really should not have been competing with each other, but, Blizzard had better marketing and people were comparing the two and they drowned out Battleborn, even though they were not the same style of game at all. Battleborn was more like a Smite almost, style of game. A MOBA, it was a third-person MOBA, but it got downtrodden very quickly because, it was released the same almost weekend or week as Overwatch, so it went to high hell.
For all you YouTube content creators, there is not a shimmy video on YouTube, so jump on
I definitely have it on my past broadcast when I played this.
I put it on YouTube. There isn't one on there yet, so
there you go. Throw it up, Jojo. Make that shit shimmy. And then Jojo, and then you got to do the shimmy. No, and then you save it like a 10-second one, and then do a TikTok of you doing the same thing.
There you go.
There you go. Instant fame. I just want 10%. I just want 10%. That's all I want for the idea. I just want 10%. That's all. You can keep the other 90. But yeah, when you do the TikTok and you get famous, just 10%. That's all I ask, Yeah, it sounds like a good stream loots card. Now, Jojo doesn't do stream loots. Same as me.
Not yet.
I know you're thinking about it. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like being a circus clown.
That's the thing.
But that's the beauty of it. I was kind of like that too, but you literally can do it to where, you have full control over what cards there are.
Yeah, I just don't know what people would want if it's not like,
I think if I would do it,
totally make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so like for mine, I do a lot of I try to make it for games that I'm not like being competitive in, so I would never do it for Apex ranked. I turn my cards off.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But,
I give it back. They'll play it and I'm like, I'm not doing that. You're gonna get that card back.
Right. Yeah. So for like DBD, I have one where it's like hide in the locker for 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just be like, okay, get in the locker, go make a drink, come back.
I have a lot of like accent ones, or
your
give my dog a treat,
or saying yeet after every comment, or yeet or whatever it is that you say every time.
Say yeet after every sentence.
Yeah. So it's like, hey guys, how are you doing? Yeet. Like that's literally what she has to do for like 2 minutes.
I was watching people do that, and I was like, I'm not that kind of person where I can like do accents and stuff like that. So, but I mean, if you can, it's a great idea. Like,
and that's the thing. Like, I think Streamloots, because it'll be a little bit extra cash flow coming in, but it's not like standard cards you pick from. Because I see it get crazy. People writing names on their head and with marker and wearing stuff, and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna go that far. But, you can literally make it down to like just sending a gift to the stream. That
if I did it, I would do it simple.
Embarrassing pictures that.
And the other thing I like about it is the
premium
fact that
snap.
you can gift cards to people, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
Hey,
you can just give out packs.
I mean, that's something we can talk about next time. But I kind of, Jojo and I have talked about it. Kind of on the same page. Like, I think it's like, that fine line of being a show pony. Like there are a lot of streams that literally use it as their content.
It's like the same reason I stopped using loots was because like I want my content to be like something I can look back and watch. You know what I mean? Like, or if I make a clip, like I had so many clips that were just destroyed by a big loots ad over my game, and I'm just like,
I understand that if something pops up on your screen, absolutely.
Yeah. So
But I mean, like
that's kind of how.
the other day we were in a top 3 situation, and someone played my squeaky shredder card where I have to turn on my high pitched voice, and it just made it that much more hilarious because I'm sitting there like, "Fucking revive me! Where are you? They're over here!" And it's just like it just sounds like, "Fucking revive me! I'm over here, motherfucker!"
Yeah, see, I could do stuff like that, or like change the lighting color, or you know,
Yeah, simpler stuff like
something, you know.
Yeah.
I could do some accents. I do like Boston pretty
There you
well.
go.
Hey, I like it.
So speaking of DBD, insert nice little segue here since we just mentioned DBD. That is something else that we're talking about. And JoJo will have good reference on this. I know Shredder, of course, wants to talk about it. Pop also plays DBD here and there, even though she gave me shit all last night or this morning. I go into her stream. She's like, why are you picking topics that I don't know about? I'm like, this is a weekly thing. This is like, I can't control what's on it.
It's just because I used to grind the shit out of some Dead by Daylight, and that was my game. But then I haven't kept up with it as much with the shooters, but all I know is that apparently the doctor got buffed and he is like extremely
The doctor
OP.
is terrifying now. I don't think he's OP. I think OP is used. I think he was weak before. He's annoying still, but annoying doesn't always equal overpowered. I think he's well-rounded now, and I think his actual.
I escaped all the times.
Really?
Yeah.
My only issue with the doctor now is now I'm actually scared of him, and I don't like that. So
Yeah. So
when he's behind me, because they added new chase music, and it literally feels like I'm in a fucking horror movie about to get my back slashed. Like,
I
it's
love
terrifying.
the new chase music.
I think it's so
every
great that
killer
they're
should
adding
have
all
their
these
own.
chase music to all of them.
Oh gosh.
It's great.
Like he has his own, and it's almost like the Huntress Lullaby, but better. It's like a heart. I wouldn't even say it's rock and roll. It's just deep, and you're just like, what the fuck? He's chasing you, and it kind of gives you a little bit of hype when you're running from him. You're like kind of like, oh fuck, he's right behind me. I gotta get out of here, you know.
I will say that I think DBD is going to be one of my favorite topics, especially when JoJo's on, because between Shredder, JoJo, and then whoever we have random guests, because so many people play the game, and then the two of you get so like into it playing, because Shredder was a former DBD main maybe back in the day. JoJo still plays
Twitch,
it a lot, you know.
Has anyone here played the test build that came out?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was about to get to. Like, we're going to talk about the new thing.
Please do.
You know, Pop, of course, like used to play it or whatever. I was doing a thing. So, new PTS out. There's a new killer and a new survivor, which I don't play DBD. I do, but it's very, very casually with like JoJo, and she's like, "Why are you missing your skill checks?" And she yells at me and she beats me, and then you know.
No, I don't even say that. Most of my friends are shitbag at skill checks. So.
But so there's a couple different things. So new survivor. Just reading through these earlier when I read about it as somebody who doesn't play, I was like, holy shit. There's a lot of different things that are coming out. So we'll start with the survivor. The main thing, honestly, is the killer. But new survivor.
Too, by the way.
All I know is this little pic right here. I haven't seen her.
She's pretty nice.
Yeah, like JoJo's a survivor main. You know. But so we have a couple different new perks for her. First one, off the record. You've learned that a quiet approach is sometimes best. Ooh, yay, storytelling. Just tell me what it fucking does. Once you are unhooked or escape from the hook. Yeah, I know, exactly. Once you are unhooked or escape from the hook, off the record activates for 60 seconds. So when you get unhooked or you jump off, it activates for 60 seconds.
You get this perk.
Yes. So while it's active, your aura will not be shown to the killer, and grunts of pain are reduced by 100%. So you will not make noise from being in pain.
Totally silent.
And you are not shown. So that
So he'll never know when you're unhooked.
If you have,
So you know how the killer, if you've ever played the killer, when someone gets unhooked, you can see their aura being unhooked. That will be hidden. For
that's
60
hidden,
seconds.
and your noises for 60 seconds. Like that's
noises,
huge.
Like obviously you're injured. You're like, like when you're running
It's
away.
great. And that's my favorite part of the game.
Self-healing?
No, like I think you still.
It says grunts of pain caused by injury, so I don't think it would be healing. They could still hear. I would assume they could hear healing, but they won't hear you moaning from being injured.
Like
the rap,
but not the grunting.
Yeah.
So your own character's cries of pain
if you're
are
behind a rock, like hiding, they won't.
Yes,
hear,
if you
they won't
use that
hear
with
your
deliverance,
character.
that's a great combo. I don't know
what
about
deliverance
the
is.
effectiveness because that's half of your build gone for just jumping off hooks. So it might be, might want to teeter with it, but
Right.
Yeah, I don't know
You
what
gotta
to.
figure out
One
the other
place that you
three
could
perks
use that.
that'll mesh well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely
I'm
gonna
excited-
like
I'm
red
excited for
herring
red
and for the
herring.
people were my two favorites.
Yes, red herring
So these
for
next
sure.
two ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
used
these.
for the people all day when I played the other
Yeah.
day.
So these are
It was
cute. So
great.
obviously this is just on PTS. Jojo, do you know when this goes live by chance, or either of you guys?
I don't.
15th,
They never. Well, they never really say an official date. They give like an estimated date. Usually, when it hits the test build, it's on there for a week, and then it comes down, and then within 3 weeks, it's usually live on all
so it's-
consoles at the
It's
same
usually
time.
the 15th of the month after the release.
They
Okay.
try to do it right around the rank resets, which is the
Right.
13th. So they
Okay.
try to do it
Oh, yeah,
within that
13th, you're right,
era.
you're right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. There we go. I'll turn them up a little bit. So red herring is the next one. So that one seems very interesting.
This is the best one out of the three, I think.
Yeah, red herring.
It's very good.
After repairing a generator for at least 3 seconds, it will be highlighted to you with a yellow aura. The generator stays highlighted until it is fully repaired, or you repair a new generator or enter a locker. Entering any locker will trigger a loud noise indicator for the killer at the highlighted generator's location. Red herring
So
can
it's
only be
like a-
triggered once
it's
every
like a
any
bait.
second. So entering
it's like a
any
bait.
locker,
Yes.
any locker,
After
matter
you've
where it is.
repaired a generator for 3 seconds.
doesn't
Yes.
matter where it is. You could be on the other side of the map by me reading this. If
Yeah.
you've repaired a generator on one side of the map for 3 seconds, go
Yep.
to the other side, enter a locker. The
Hop in a
noise of
locker.
you entering a locker will proc at
You'll
that
ping to the
generator.
killer at the generator. So
At
he'll go
that-
over there while you do whatever else on the other side of the map. It's just like that perk that Adam has. I don't know the name of it, but you just throw a rock and it makes a
Yeah.
sound. Yeah, what is that perk called? I don't know off the top of my
don't
head.
use it. I don't know
But
it.
it's like that, except like max range
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and it's like a remote control for it instead of you having to actually like throw the rock.
The reason I see this being huge is because for the people that play this, everybody knows how hard it is when you have 2 survivors left
Mhm.
and there's only 3 generators and you gen fucked yourself.
Yeah,
and
and the gen
they can just
rotation
walk
is
back and
screwed, and
forth.
they're all right next to each other.
You
Yeah.
literally can just trap one generator, and if he's about to go to your friend's and your friend's like, oh, it's 80%,
Yeah,
you can
jump
just
in a
trap
locker.
it, jump in a locker, pop it,
Yep.
hopefully distract the
so
killer
he
enough
won't
to
go
finish.
to that one.
Right.
Yeah. It's definitely a game changer. It'll be interesting to see how survivors use this and how they manipulate it into being like broken, because that's what survivors always do, because we're toxic.
Survivors are more toxic than killers. 100%.
No, they're so toxic. Survivors ruined the game completely. So
That's why I stopped playing.
and the toxicity will eventually kill the game, but we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean, Dead by Daylight, I think, is going to definitely be a recurring theme, especially when JoJo's on, because I know she plays a lot, and I know Shredder has a near and dear love for the game in his
Oh,
heart.
Escobar, that's going to go away. Just wait till we get to the killer perks.
Yeah, it's so. And I love DBD as a topic on the show also because it's amusing me as like a middle ground. And then like I always like watching like Pop like above me like right now, just kind of being like she's vested, but at the same time she's kind of like I'm not sure what to say, like, you know, because I kind of
It's
don't.
just because like if you would have put me in like I don't know about 6-7 months ago, I would have so much more.
Yeah.
But I got so sick of that game and like just either toxic or terrible or toxic and terrible. Like just missing the skill checks. But not only that, like only playing for themselves. I'm like, this is literally where a game that you gotta work together. Like you can't, and they just give no fucks about who, unless you have your own squad that you're playing with people that you know.
I mean, that's how I usually play.
They do not care to
with my own
unhook you.
squad,
They do
'cause
not care.
I agree.
They won't help you at all.
Yeah.
No,
I 100% agree.
It just kind of ruined it.
Yep.
It's funny because that's how I am. Like the other day I was playing with 2 other people and we had a random and I was like, oh good, we have a random that we can just sacrifice.
Yeah,
No, and
exactly.
Just like,
I agree with Pop. That's
If
why I
open
don't
an
play.
exit gate and someone gets hooked, I'm like, nah, I opened this gate. This is my gate, and I leave.
unless they help me,
Right.
I don't give a shit.
If they've been selfish the whole match and done nothing but sit in a locker or crouch when the killer's around me instead of try to take it for me, then no, I'm leaving. Like fuck you. So
And it's funny, like I agree with Pop 100% because you guys know I don't play the game ever unless I'm playing with
try
like
to get you
JoJo.
to.
Like I mean, yeah, no, and like I don't play with you guys, but the 1 or 2 times I have played it like even half solo or even with one other person, I get so. And I said this last week we were talking about it. DBD for whatever reason, because of that toxicity that Pop was just mentioning, for whatever reason,
many
this
people feel
game
the same
gets
way.
to me, and it just
It
kills me.
does.
And I'm like, fuck this
It
game.
gets
I'm
into
not
your
playing. Yeah,
soul.
and it's
It
just
gets
like,
into your soul and it
fuck
rots
each and
your
every last
being.
one of y'all.
And if you
Why am
don't
I
know how to
always the
kite the
first one
killer-
die? Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know how to kite the killer, that first person that they're on, you know, like, oh, he's on me.
That's me.
slash,
That's
and
me.
you're
That's
like,
me. Every
"God,
fucking
like,
game.
I just haven't
Every
even found the
goddamn game.
generator Yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And
fucking.
you're already getting hooked, and now
And so
you're
what's
like
funny-
contemplating finishing the generator or going and unhooking them.
And what's funny about that is the
2 seconds.
That's
the
me.
Xbox, the Xbox finally implemented the disconnect
Yeah.
penalties.
They did.
And-
Oh,
that's
so they
huge.
did. I didn't see that.
dude.
Okay. Well, we
did.
talked about that last week about the
Penalties are live
penalties.
on all platforms.
So
Oh,
that
they're
just- that
live.
just
I didn't see
happened-
that.
just happened yesterday.
So very quickly,
they-
guys, just to touch
When
base.
the test build went live, they pushed the update for consoles that now have the
Yeah.
disconnect penalty.
So if you weren't here like last week, or if you're not as there are disconnect penalties. We talked about it last week on the show. Not going to get into that again, but now they're live across all platforms, which is you are penalized for leaving the game. There was a
15
big
minutes.
issue
It's just
with
like
the killers,
regular
everything like that.
happening
It's
if you-
so
Oh
you
my
into a game
God.
and
You know
you-
what? I might give
Yeah.
the game another shot now.
we could
I
play.
don't know.
We could play
Definitely
it.
do.
Yeah.
Definitely do.
You have to run it with a full squad. Yeah.
But nowadays, if someone disconnects, the whole game ends because it's dedicated servers.
Yep.
So
No
the entire game,
way.
yes, the entire game ends, and you get to keep your offerings and items if the game ends as well.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yes.
huge.
Yeah.
They have made leaps and bounds since like 6 months ago. All of these changes have made just the overall like stability and the environment with the
Wait,
game
do they
so
still
much
have
better.
do they still have it where you have to invite your friend after every game, like after
No.
the game ends?
No.
That
No,
finally
the
changed like a month
lobbies
ago.
stay
That
together.
pissed me off.
Not
That
only
pissed
do
me
the
off so
lobbies
much
stay
like 2
together,
months
but
ago.
Now they have their own in-game friends list that you can invite right there instead of having to go to the
Wow.
Xbox menu or
Yeah.
or to your Steam.
Wait, so Jojo, you play PC Dead by Daylight or Xbox?
She plays
I main
everything.
PC, but I also have it on Xbox and I play for
Would
both.
you
so.
recommend? I mean, I already have it on Xbox, but would you recommend it on PC or just like you can?
I mean, if you're not going to be completely
is it
into
worth
it, I would
buying,
just
I
say it
guess,
on one.
again?
Here's what I think, and this is what I tell my personal friends too that want to get into it. I recommend playing on PC for one reason only, and that's because the PC players are a lot better at the
Yeah.
game, just because of,
God.
mouse and keyboard. So if you get decent at PC and you go back to Xbox, you're fucking all-star. You can 360 any killer. You can escape every match. So like when I go play, for example, if my friend wanted to go play on Xbox right now, I would never die in one of those matches. Like I just wouldn't, because I'm versed. Like I'm usually rank 8 or 9 on PC, and that is basically a rank 1 Xbox. Like it just
Yeah.
that's basically how it equates. So it's just
100% accurate.
it's stupidly different, especially now that it's on the Game Pass. Most people playing Dead by Daylight in your random, level 15, 17 lobby are like 12-year-olds.
Mhm.
So
And you can play DBD mouse and keyboard on Xbox, by the way.
you can. It does have compatibility, and you can also play with a controller on PC, and you're actually not even at a disadvantage doing that. So
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, you have an advantage because
It's easier to do the 360.
Is only possible with a controller.
I would say, yeah,
Like, you
because
can
I've done
do it
that on
with a keyboard,
Xbox.
but
It's
I've
a
been playing Dead by
pain.
Daylight for 3 years, and I can still barely 360 with a mouse and keyboard. It's tough. Like all the killer has to do is just turn slightly, and they can.
Well, because it's so much easier as a killer, or so much better, because they can
Yeah.
just be like, oh, you're 360 here. Let me move my mouse down and to the left. Whereas,
Yeah,
like on
you just turn
controller,
completely
you're just
around.
like,
You have to turn all the
yeah,
way
yeah,
around.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's different.
PC,
But
I just gonna continue to move my mouse and just click. It's the killers. That's like what Pop was saying earlier. Like I'm that first person normally that goes down, and that's why I have a hard time. Like I will only play this with friends, like overall, and even then I sometimes get heated because I'm like, God damn it, I'm out already. I'm the first
Right.
motherfucker that it's tagged. Like I try to kite him around, but my biggest thing with the game, and I said this last week, is that I feel like once you're seen by a killer, there's nothing that you can do. If it's a half decent killer, once you're seen, you're fucked. Very.
There's ways to get away from a killer, but they're very seasoned. Like,
very
it's-
reason. A half decent killer,
it's stuff that
from
you
what I've
learn
seen.
after playing
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Like you have to know. You have to know.
And
the
I'm not
map, you have to
invested
know
2
the
or 3
tiles
years in
and the
this
way
shit.
they
Yeah.
generate,
Yeah,
and-
exactly. Oh
'Cause
wait,
if you find a
there
spot
might
where the
be a
killer-
yeah.
If you
Go
find a spot where you're going to run the killer around, and
You have to
just
find a
doing
jungle
that,
gym.
Yeah,
jungle
exactly.
gym
The jungle
or a
gym
pallet
or the killer shack with no basement is a really good one too.
It is a really good one. Also, the
Pro strats from DVD
L-shaped-
pros.
L-shaped walls that have an opening on the inside are great because the killers, most people don't know this, the killers have a bigger hitbox than the survivors. So if you are going in a circular or a triangular motion around a wall, the killer will take longer to go around that if you hug the wall tightly.
Yes.
The killer will never catch you. They will get bloodlust, so don't do it for too long because they will catch you after a few seconds, but that gives you enough time to get some distance and then go to the next area or the next jungle gym.
So going to what Kdog was talking about, today, for example, I got seen right away, and I went and I was like, ooh, first jungle gym I saw. I was running around. They got 3 generators done, and he finally gave up on me. He was
exactly.
like, fuck this. I need to go.
Yeah, I don't mind if I can do good for the team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When they camp your hook, like they won't leave your hook, what do you do? Is it just like, all right, you're just sacrificed?
It's a team effort. Usually it depends on the killer. If it's like a Leatherface, you're fucked. Basically.
If someone has borrowed time, that's the best.
Borrowed time is a lifesaver. I always have one person on my team run borrowed time. If it's not me, it's somebody else. But usually we heal up and then we go in a group of 2, and one person either takes the hit while they body block or we'll borrow time it or something. It usually now with we never got to her 3rd perk, but with her 3rd perk, that is a lifesaver for hook camping.
Transition into 3rd perk. For the people. For the people is only active while at full health. So then you got to press the active ability button while healing. That's I was saying like while headling another survivor while healing.
I did the same thing when I was.
Would you like to be headling?
This word doesn't make sense.
I was like, wait, what's that? Well, that's a little kinky. Anyways, while healing another survivor without a med kit to instantly heal them from dying or injured or from injured to healthy. So let me finish and then you become injured and receive the broken status effect for 110 seconds. You become the obsession. Equipping this perk decreases your overall chance of being. I was like, this has to be chance. This has to be chance. Overall chance of being the killer's obsession at the start of the trial. So correct me if I'm wrong. So what this does is you're healing somebody who is hurt. You're at full health. All of a sudden now they're they're not fully healed, but they're 1 step healed instantly. And
if you use the button, yes.
If I use the button, they're instantly 1 step healed.
They get instantly 1 health state gained. So if they were laying on the ground, you can instantly get them up.
Instantly get them up.
And they'll be injured.
They're still injured.
Yeah.
They'll still be injured. So they only get healed 1 health state, but you take that health state yourself.
But if
so it's a 1-for-1 swap.
Injured, they become
1-for-1
fully
swap.
healed and you're injured.
So now both of you are injured. If they're down crawling on the ground, you instantly pick them up, and now both of you are injured.
Do this while you're injured.
Up and still injured. So
this is
both escape. So it's really good. Like if someone's downed in like an exit gate and you're full health, you can run in there, just Q, and you can both run out. Or I said Q because that's my button.
Yeah.
But I think E is the activate ability button. So you just activate. It's like dead hard. You have to push a button to activate it, and when you activate it, you take an injured status effect with broken. So you can't be healed for almost 2 minutes at all. That's what broken status effect means.
Okay, I was gonna ask that what broken meant.
You're injured for a minimum of 110 seconds, but you can heal. You can instantly heal somebody 1 whole health state. So if they're injured, like if you pull them off of a hook, you can just use your ability and they're full health and they're running away.
And I think
injured, so you can take that hit for them if you don't have borrowed.
And that, from my experience, I think personally that would be very beneficial because a lot of times a killer will go after the person they've already hooked. Correct? I've noticed because so now because they're already injured, so they know it's only 1 hit. But now if you get them, you instantly cue ability on them. They now need 2 hits instead of the 1. And they're chasing, and so I could see that. So yeah.
I mean, I did it a lot, and because it also makes you the obsession, which makes the killer want to go after you. So I think they added this as not only a way to reduce the killer's toxicity towards survivors, because there are ways for killers to be toxic and basically hold the game hostage. So this is a way to break that, but also at the same time, it's a way to take the focus away from whoever the killer is throttling or tunneling. It makes them want to change targets essentially because you become the obsession, so they get a bonus for killing you. You also get a bonus if they kill you, which is kind of ironic.
Which it just blows my mind. Like whenever they played and they camped the hook, I'm like, you're just leaving time to fix all these generators. Like you are not
only
playing
that, but
you're
now
not
they
playing
get
to win the game and kill everyone.
Yeah, not only that, but now they actually lose blood points for every second they stand within like 10 meters of a hooked survivor. So they get a penalty for doing it. So while they're doing
Pop's
it,
like, this is my new main.
Laugh and go finish the game. And then what's funny is I've never had a killer camp a hook and I didn't get that person off at some point. It happens. We get them off. So they're just making a fool of themselves at that point.
Before we read is the obsession, is that just a new thing? Because I see that's in here, or is that something that's in the game already?
No, that's been
okay. I thought, okay, yeah, I thought that was like, I don't play killer. So
when you look at the survivors' names at the bottom, it kind of has like the
it has like a little arms, little hands coming up over whoever the obsession is.
Okay.
It depends on which perk the obsession perk is being used.
Usually people that run DS will get the obsession.
Decisive strike. Yeah.
Sorry. Decisive strike.
Also now.
Yeah. Layman terms it for me.
Sorry.
For the people will now make you the obsession. Decisive strike does it. There's a dozen killer perks that choose
what does the obsession just give them more blood points if they get rid of you? Okay.
Yes, it's like a cat and mouse game. So that makes you their number one mouse. Or some killer perks make it so that if you don't kill the obsession, you get more points. So it makes them avoid you.
Okay. So cool. All right. Well, now I know.
Yeah, if you like some killers get like more blood points if they kill you last. If you're the obsession.
Okay, so it's just another
some
like
obsession perks make it so the killer can outright kill you as soon as they find you. So
interesting. All right. Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Learning is half the battle. G.I. Joe. The new killer. Deathslinger is the new killer.
I'm so excited.
I even heard JoJo say a little bit that she really liked this killer the other night stream. I jumped in that she really liked this new character on PTS.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
And she's a survivor main, so she's even
but I'm a big killer nerd because I used to be a killer main. I can't play killer main anymore because I just anxiety and too much stuff going on. But
so
you're frustrated playing killer.
I was just talking about that today on stream too. How like I was like I have to play survivor because I was playing killer a lot today, and I was like I have to take a break and play survivor.
I know, like my whole body gets sweaty.
And it's not even like I care if I get a 4K. It's like I don't care if I get 4K. I just it's that thing where it's like your anxiety, you're like, these people want to see them dead. I need to get them dead.
And I know the potential that they have to be toxic towards me. So like I'm the kind of killer that I always let a person go because I'm like, please don't be mean to me. You know what I mean? Like it's like a high school. Like you're nice to the mean girl, even though she's gonna punch you.
Him to the hatch?
I either carry him to the hatch or I like smack pallets. Like please throw this or something. You know, like.
So on that note, today I had it where I killed all 4 survivors. No hate mail. All 4 survivors got out. I got hate mail, and I was like, "How did I get hate mail?"
How does that? Yeah.
What?
How does that balance out? Yeah. So Deathslinger's perks. Gearhead. After hitting survivor 2 times with your basic attack, Gearhead activates for 35 seconds.
Yes.
Each time a survivor completes a good or great skill check while repairing, the generator will be revealed by a yellow aura for as long as it's being repaired. That just reading it sounds insane.
So my initial thoughts on this perk were actually that it's kind of weak, only because you have to hit them twice, and it only does this for 35 seconds after you hit them twice. So it's
okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of weak. I think it should only be required that you hit a survivor once for this to happen, and it should do it for a whole minute. I think that's how it should be.
Okay.
Obviously,
but it's nice that is a nice.
It's nice and weak, but I think it's too weak.
But it is a start for a nice counter to what we were talking about earlier with the kiting them around. If they change that to 1, all of a sudden now you see that you're just being kited around and where those people are, so you're gonna peel off. I would assume as a killer and be like, "There's 3 people repairing this generator over here. I'm gonna go get them." That's what I see reading this.
Exactly. But the other thing is that perk is a direct counter to the new survivors. The red herring.
Off the record.
Red herring that makes the generators, and then you get in the locker. Or which one is that?
So that's the red. That's red herring.
The killer's perk, the first one.
They know where you're at.
To her perk.
Yeah,
because if he's hit you, then as soon as you jump on a generator and then into a locker, he can see you. Like he knows that. So that's wasted. So if those 2 are used together. As a survivor,
he's a hard counter. These 2 are hard counters to each other in multiple ways, from what I was reading through. Dead Man's Switch. After hooking the obsession, Dead Man's Switch activates for the next 35 seconds. While activated, any survivor that stops repairing a generator before it is fully repaired causes the entity to block the generator until Dead Man's Switch effect ends. Affected generators are highlighted by a white aura. The killer can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. So what I'm reading of this is that you are stuck repairing that generator, especially if they have gearhead and all that action. So he knows where you are. You're hitting those skill checks. You have to commit like a motherfucker, because otherwise you cannot get back on that generator for the next 35 seconds. That's what I'm reading.
The thing too, as a survivor, you don't know that he has that perk, so you probably won't know until it's too late. Like
until you get off and it's
like
blocked.
say I'm on a gen and you see across the map the obsession just got hooked. You need to save the obsession, because if you don't save the obsession, 9 times out of 10 whole team's gonna die if the obsession dies. That's just kind of how it goes. So you jump off to go save the obsession, and then the entity grabs your generator.
Yeah, and then you're like, fuck.
Right.
Wow.
The only way that I think this perk is pretty well rounded. The only way that I think it should be maybe better is I think that when you jump off the generator and it's blocked by the entity, I think it should also regress. I think that would make the perk actually like really strong and viable for killers.
Oh, that would be crazy if you regress the generator too.
For 30.
I feel like it would have to slowly regress though. I don't know that, but
this perk isn't going to happen that often because it's only after their obsession is hooked. So because it's such a limited chance for it to happen, and it can only happen twice in a match anyway.
And me being me, you guys get hooked. I stay on the generator because I'm like greater good. God damn it, I'm fixing this generator first, and then I'm gonna go get you.
And that's 100% okay.
That's usually me too. If someone gets hooked, I'm like,
I'll be there in a minute.
Just hang there.
You just hang out for a second. I'm at 50. Yeah.
Unless we finish those generators, nobody gets
yeah,
out.
exactly. I'm like, yeah.
And I know the math too. I know a person can hang on a hook for exactly 60 seconds before they go into struggle mode. So if I know my generator is going to take less than 60 seconds, you're just going to have to hang there and get over it.
Right.
So
I mean, if you know that, that's fine. But I hate getting to second stage on my first hook. That
I try to almost never let it happen. If I'm playing by myself, I'll almost always go get the randoms, because if not, they talk shit after because they're stupid. But if I'm playing with a team of friends, like we know, where I'm like, they're like, they get hooked, they're like, just finish your gen. I know.
Yeah, it's like, hey, yeah.
They know because
and it's funny. It's funny how your mental is with randoms and friends. Like if you go into your second stage and you're with friends, you're just like, oh, it's no big deal, don't worry about it. But if it's a random, you're like, you're a piece
you
of
guys
shit.
get out.
It's so different. It's like, what are you doing? I've been here so
fucking
long.
asshole. I can't hit space anymore.
You're a piece of shit. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And that goes back to the
I'm toxic
toxicity.
myself.
Yeah.
No, pop toxic. No.
It's not even just Dead by Daylight in a situation where there's randoms. You can't trust randoms on any game, not even just Dead by Daylight.
Never.
Never.
No.
But
Literally
sometimes on Dead by
everyone's a
Daylight,
piece
you're
of shit if I
pleasantly
don't know.
surprised. Right.
That is a great joke there, Stormy. I don't know what you're saying. But Hex, last one, the new Hex, Retribution, a Hex that lashes out upon its destruction. Any survivor who cleanses a dull totem will suffer from the Oblivious status effect for 35 seconds. If any Hex totem is cleansed, including this one, the auras of all survivors are revealed for 10 seconds. So if you take out any totem around the map, correct? That's how I'm reading it.
Yeah,
any totem
on the map gives you Oblivious for
all of a sudden,
35 seconds.
the killer knows where the fuck everybody is.
But
No.
Why would you cleanse a totem if it's not?
To avoid Hex, Noed.
To avoid Noed.
Yeah.
No one
I
escapes
cleanse
death.
any of them. Yeah, I cleanse any of them. I know Noed. I know Noed.
Perk that only spawns once the generators are all completed, and it can only spawn if there's a dull totem left on the map.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I know.
So it's
I know that one.
To always
I feel
cleanse the dull
special.
totem. You know that one.
I know that one. I know Noed. I know Noed, and I know barbecue and chili. Chile.
So the way this perk works, I found this out in the middle of a game because I didn't read the patch notes before I played. I just wanted to jump into it and get a raw experience. So I saw a Hex totem in a match against the Death Slinger, and I was like, ooh, a Hex. He has a Hex. Let's figure out what it is. Because at that point in the game, no one has any hexes for the killer because he's brand new. So any Hex you see in a game is going to be his new Hex. So I was like, I'm going to cleanse it and see how much we die. And sure enough, I cleansed it, and like 3 people got hooked because of it.
Good job, Jojo. Good job.
No, but that's the whole point, is to figure it out.
So wait, is this an active totem then when you log in? It's not a...
This is an active totem, and it's kind of like the spirits active totem. It's one you don't want to cleanse.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Wow.
the way this perk works is if you cleanse a dull totem on the map, so one that's
The not
lit,
fiery. Okay. Yep.
the not fiery ones, you get oblivious for 35 seconds, which means you don't hear the terror radius of the killer. That's what
Ooh.
oblivious.
You also can't see, right, when people
You can't
get
see his
downed.
auras.
Ooh.
Well, that's
Or no, is
blindness.
that
I don't know.
blinded? Yeah,
That's
yeah, never mind.
blindness.
I got
So you
confused.
can't see the killer's aura, and you can't hear the terror radius. That's what oblivious does. So for every time you cleanse a dull totem, you get that for 35 seconds.
So
If you
that plus
cleanse the
Noed.
actual totem, yeah, it's rough. If you cleanse the actual like lit totem, then all survivors are revealed to the killer for 10 seconds. So, and you're exposed. So you're one hit. It doesn't say that, but that's what happened. So
Yeah, that sounds spicy.
I don't know why they didn't add that in there. That's not a very good article. But
Yeah, I don't know.
exposed.
And this is the one.
After
Shredder linked this to me, so
It's the only one I could find.
yeah,
It's
no,
honestly
that's
the
I
only one
always
could
read
find.
my patch notes directly from behavior. So.
I was thinking about going like to Reddit and like finding the patch notes,
Well,
but yeah.
they usually put them on their Twitter, and then I open them up and read them, and it's nice.
Now, so the other thing that it's not a perk or anything like that that Deathslinger has, and I was talking about it earlier, was no more teabagging the killer at the gate. He can actually grab you
Yeah.
once you exit and reel
actual
you back
ability.
in.
Yeah. So
Yes.
his ability is he has a grapple. He has a gun, so everybody thinks like, oh, he can shoot you. No, it's a grappling hook.
And it
He
reels you
shoots a
in.
grappling hook out of his gun, and if he hits you with it, he can literally drag you to him. Things to know
fuck is
about
that shit?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It seems crazy. It's terrifying. I think it's so loud. But it's so fucking awesome,
His
though.
Mori
So,
is amazing.
some things to know about the grapple hook, though, is I found out already that you can break the chain. If someone's being dragged to him, you can run in as a survivor. You can actually run into the chain and break it.
Karate
as
chop
a survivor
heard.
that the chain is attached to, you can use
This game.
you can use left and right, so or like A and D, or just left and right on your toggle stick for a
Wiggle
controller.
out
If
of
you,
it.
you can move side to side. You don't wiggle out of it, but if you hit an object with the chain, it breaks it.
Okay, so you have to
So-
be pretty much straight line of sight, is what I'm
have to
gonna
be-
like, and nothing in
The windows that
between.
you
Use
can't
it
pull
when
you
you're not
through
even
a
at the
pallet.
exit though.
Yeah, he
Like,
can use it
use it
anytime
Yeah.
in a match.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
So
usually
is it-
he drags you to him and he gets a free hit. Is basically what happens.
So
And
it's
here's the other thing.
Chappie's grapple when he tags somebody at the
Yes.
beginning of the game. He just pulls
Yeah.
you really quickly. Yeah, it's,
You know,
it's
that self revive that you're like, I'm gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go
You
ahead,
get
get
hit
up.
by the grapple hook and it breaks, like he doesn't get you. You get a little bleed out, like not a bleed out, but like a mend. Like
Yeah, it's
borrow
just-
time or like Legion's hit, you have to run away and you have to mend. If you don't mend before your
go
mend
down.
timer runs out, then you go down. So
interesting.
Yeah, so he can't pull you through windows and he can't pull you over
yeah, he can't
pallets.
pull you through anything. He can just
Right.
pull you to him. If you hit anything on the way to him, like of like chest level or higher, that will hit the chain. Because like small items like barrels, the chain just goes right over them.
Hmm.
So
Is it long? Is it a long hook?
it's,
don't remember- what's
it's
the radius
pretty
on that?
long range. It's I
Are
would
we
say
talking like
medium range.
Huntress's axes?
No, it's not Huntress like across the map. Because Huntresses don't have a range. They can go literally across the entire map.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can.
But
Didn't know that.
I would say
Hail Mary.
I don't know if I had to put Dead by Daylight terms on it, like meters. I would say it's like probably 25 to 30 meters, probably that he can shoot his grapple hook.
But
It-
so he could essentially, even if he can't get to you, he could stop you from like fixing a generator, even
Oh,
if
yeah.
it breaks.
Yeah,
it's-
if he,
If he sees you and has straight line of sight.
he can shoot you with that grapple gun
And
Here's
pull you
what
off.
happened to me in my last game the other night. I just saved someone from the hook. The exit gates had already been opened. They got out. I was running to the exit, and right before I got in the exit, he grappled me and moried me. And that's
His-
what happened. Like that's the
His Mori is
potential.
sick.
It's so sick. I love it.
It's
That's
It's so good though. I
probably
love
like
it
the most
because
gruesome. It's probably the most gruesome Mori I've seen.
it's so awesome. We should see if there's a video of it. It's
There
pretty
is.
awesome.
The one thing that I wish they would add to it though, is when the head comes off. I wish the head came back with the grapple gun. It's the
Oh
only
yeah,
thing
yeah,
I
that'd be
wish.
dope.
But I don't know how you would code
I
that.
wish it was more gruesome.
Yeah,
No,
I wish
I
it was
really do.
more
More
toxic.
blood.
Yeah.
I can try
Yeah,
to
I
find
found
it.
it.
Yeah.
I found a
Found it? Okay,
video. Yeah, let me
send
put
it
it in
to
the
Kdog.
Discord.
Yeah, throw it in there and all. Throw it in the chat. And
I saw it was
then
Maury, and we watched it on stream, and I was like, no way is this in the game. This is so sick.
hold on. Open up in there. All right. Ooh.
It's so good. Her head comes off.
Yeah. But see what you mean. The head should be attached to that grapple hook. That would be amazing.
It's so good.
But yeah, it's.
Oh, thick thighs girl. I like her.
Yeah.
She's my fave.
Look at that. It's so dope.
He's scary.
He's really awesome, honestly. And the chase music is like some really creepy like Western music. Like they did so good. The new map is super dope.
And it's in daytime.
It's really big. Yeah,
Ooh, daytime. What
It's
the
a
fuck is that
daytime
shit? I mean, I hadn't seen him till just then, so
It's
gunslinger, I
daylight.
could see
mean,
that.
We're finally being killed by daylight. Hello.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or killed in daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's really awesome.
I think Billy's are gonna have a really good time on his new map.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very
for
open.
sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Dead by Daylight will always be a hot topic, especially when JoJo's on here, of course. I have one more topic for tonight that I want to get on because we are already over the two hour thing. But the other one, it's a little more out there, kind of more opinion wise. It was in the news a little bit the last week for different reasons, but I'm gonna pull it a little, extrapolate a little bit more from it. Shroud? No, not Shroud. We already talked about Shroud earlier. We already talked about Shroud. No, the other one that I want to talk about is the combination of Geforce Now, which if you guys aren't familiar with, Geforce Now is a new service that came out, released out of beta in the last 2 weeks. I believe like 2 weeks ago it left beta. It is a $5 cloud service game streaming application, for lack of a better term, program, application, whatever it qualifies itself as. But what that means is the way that it's set up is you pay the $5 if you own said game, you own Overwatch on your PC or whatever, your home PC, however you want it. You own Overwatch. You own, well, Overwatch is a bad example because I'll get to that in a second. But you own Dead by Daylight. You own Borderlands, whatever game it is. You are now able to play it over the Geforce Now network through cloud gaming using also RTX software. So you get the ability of also RTX graphics. For those of you guys that extrapolating a little further, what I mean by cloud gaming is kind of like Shadow PC, where you don't have to have a top of the line rig. What that means is you're pretty much playing these games over the internet. It doesn't matter necessarily what your rig is locally. It is you are playing on my beast of a rig PC from your 1999 Dell one-piece system is what that means. So as long as you own the game using the Geforce Now network. Yeah, exactly. I realized, like, as I said, Overwatch, I regressed a little bit because I'm going to use that as an example. But as long as you own the game in the Geforce Now network, you are able to play the game, which is different a little bit than Stadia. There's a lot preface here that I'm going to mention before we get into the hardcore topic of it. Stadia, we've talked about on the channel here, is something that none of us were impressed with. Pop, you were at West last year. Did you get a chance to handle the Stadia thing at all when you were at West? I know it was there. Okay. Those of us who, like, I know Disciple and a couple of us, Warlock when he was on, we all used the Stadia controller, the Stadia kind of everything. None of us were impressed. It was really, really underwhelming. That being said, Stadia is a localized thing. You still have to buy it through them. Geforce Now, what it is a cloud gaming source that allows you to, as long as you own the game, you can play it from anywhere. Simply put, no matter what you're playing on your little crappy PC, your little crappy tablet, etc. That being said, recently it popped up in the news as it exited beta because Blizzard left their little bubble of games that were allowed on it. They got rid of it while it was in beta. Blizzard allowed them to play Overwatch, which was one of the main ones, but WoW, all those things. So people were able to play these games, even if they had shitty PCs. They were able to play it essentially over the internet and play it well, depending on their internet connection. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Blizzard recently dropped out. That was why it kind of came up more in the news. After being in beta so long, they dropped out after a week of being in there. The thing that I want to get to here with the talking points of it, there's multiple facets here that could fill up a whole podcast in and of itself. Honestly, this is kind of why I was excited to talk about it. There's so many different ideas about it. The main thing that I want to talk about, ignoring the Blizzard part somewhat, they dropped out for different reasons. I've actually seen a couple more recent articles that said it was because of legality things and all that. Probably. They didn't have like permissions, and they didn't solidify it, because the Geforce Now thing, like they reached out to companies and they were like, hey, do you want to continue to do this? And they were like, yeah, sure, great. The thing that I kind of want to touch base on, and I want more your guys' input and want to present to you guys, is the aspect of cloud gaming itself. No, it was the aspect of cloud gaming itself, which I'm going to preface this with, we are all on Microsoft already, all Mixer people. We have GameFly, which isn't cloud gaming, but I could very well see it moving that way in the near future, where the way that it's set up infrastructure-wise, where you don't have to download a game to your Xbox or your PC. It would be a very easy transition. It almost seems like they're already setting it up that way. We've already seen Alienware, that new tablet we talked about a while ago. We've already seen cloud gaming become a little more forward in the industry. I don't think that it will ever replace the hardcore hardware people like myself, like probably JoJo, like I know Warlock out there. I'm always going to want my nice top-of-the-line PC. But for those people that can't afford it, moving forward, what do you guys think of the cloud gaming thing? Do you think this future, and I would argue that Microsoft is moving this way, whether they admit it or not, I would argue that that's their future goal for Game Pass, and that is to make it into a cloud gaming and to make it into where you have your Xbox on, you have a Game Pass thing, you don't have to download this game. If you have the Game Pass, it's now a cloud gaming thing. You sign in onto your cloud gaming account and you're able to play. Just like GeForce, you own said game. GeForce, you own said game, and you're able to play it from anywhere. Like Blizzard, we'll get to that in a second, but that's the cloud gaming side of it. There's been so much more of it. And like I said, we've talked Stadia before. There's been so much more of it recently. Do you guys think this is a viable... Do you think this is the next step? Because we have consoles getting more expensive. We have PC components getting more expensive. PC is always going to be a hurdle to get into, whether we admit it or not. You're always going to have the hardware buffs, but PC is going to be a hurdle to get into. Consoles, we already talked about PS5 and what we speculated the price to be for that. Do you think cloud gaming is going to be the new thing, like moving forward, just that as a whole?
I don't know if it will be the new thing, but I think it definitely could be an alternate thing. Like I said, like you said just now, nothing will ever replace like core PC gaming.
There's going to be those of us, yeah.
Will really replace consoles, because consoles are just the ease of access. You know what I mean? Like a 5-year-old can operate a console. I know that because I have a 6-year-old that does it. He's been playing since he was 4, actually. So I don't think it will replace it, but I definitely think it will extend the market more. So for example, my husband is the kind of person that would use something like cloud gaming. I bought him one of the Alienware little controllers with the screen on it. I don't remember what it was called. A Shield is what it's called. Not Alienware, Nvidia Shield. I bought him one of those for Christmas a few years ago, and he loves it. He takes it to work and plays on his breaks and stuff. And that's it just runs off of his Steam. Even when his Steam isn't playing the game, the little controller is. So it's great. And that's kind of the same thing.
That's what like Geforce Now is what they're experiencing.
Very
Is you pay the $5 a month. It incorporates your Steam games. It incorporates all of that. And now right now it doesn't incorporate the Blizzard games because they backed out. But as long as you own said game on Steam or whatever, you can play it anywhere. Doesn't matter the hardware that you're playing it on. You are essentially just through the internet, which now in this day and age, there is 1 gig internet. Like the internet's getting better. Like if I wasn't streaming, my internet is great.
Has to keep up.
Yeah, the internet has, but it is getting better. Like, I mean, a lot of, obviously your rural areas are going to have a harder time, but if you have access to good internet, what's the disadvantage? If I wasn't streaming, I would fucking...
Right, exactly. I think that cloud gaming will do, like, if it's all ironed out and it works well and they have enough titles supported by that, like, I think Blizzard should get back in that because that's losing a lot. At the same time, though, like, where else are you going to play WoW? Besides the computer, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, maybe that's why they backed out so much, but.
Well, I read it a little more and I can expand a little bit more on the Blizzard side of it, but I wanted to kind of cross this bridge first. I think, you know, but it allows you to play on, you know, I wish, like, I don't know if cheating's still here or whatever, but I use him as an example. He has like an older PC that he's like slowly upgrading, but Geforce Now would be a good example of somebody who does have a PC that hasn't been upgraded, like you said, you know, a little tiny, like, crappier hardware since 2001. You just pay for a good internet connection. Now you're able to play. You know, you're able to play, and it's, you know, like Geforce Now.
You're able to play, but you're still not getting the same graphics.
No, you never will, but you're able to play for $5 a month.
Elite gamer.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't for the elite gamer. This is for the gamer that just wants to play in any way that they can. And with the ease of not having to always download or install or update the game. Because you're already there on a cloud server.
This would be perfect for people because, like, Buns does this to me a lot, where it's like, I get ahead and then she wants to come home and play games, and I'm like, I'm tired of playing those games because I've been playing them all day. This is perfect for her because she can keep up with what I'm doing while she's away.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about installing games.
Away the graphics, you'll be more worried about keeping up with everybody else.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like only internet based. So like as long as and the $5 a month. But I mean, if you can keep a sub to literally anything, you can just keep a sub to that. So.
But yeah, arguably, $5 a month plus owning the game. So you buy a game for $40, you pay $5 a month. That is a lot cheaper than the fucking $3,500 I have in my gaming PC. It's going to take a lot of months for you to catch up to that. And, you know, yeah, my graphics are great, but, you know, like, if you're a casual gamer.
I guess I'm thinking of it, you would use it in more portable situations then?
Yes, and
you could, but you could also... Well, you could also do it like, think of like if you have all of your games on a PC already somewhere, like in this office in my house that I'm sitting in, but I have a little rinky-dink laptop, I could go play it in there with that. You know, so if I'm in there, because I can't come back here to play games unless someone else is watching all my kids, for example. So, but that way I could play in my living room while watching all my kids, and I wouldn't have to sacrifice, you know, come back here and then the walls
I can tell you
catch up or
numerous
something.
types of games that I don't play on stream. And I would love to play in bed, like falling asleep.
Exactly, stuff like that too, or like while you're taking a shit, you know, like
there you go.
Anything.
I mean, I agree 100% because I'm usually
or
on
in
like
the bathtub. You know, if you're just like chilling in a bathtub, there's like some candles and some wine. Like no, most like electronics nowadays are at least water resistant. So
yeah, exactly. Up to 5 feet, right? The bathtub isn't that deep.
Up to
You're good.
5 feet and 30 seconds. As well.
Yeah, just don't. Don't plug it in. You're good. But even besides the mobile aspect, cloud gaming, you know, provides the ability to. I personally think more than the mobile side of it. I think it provides the lack of having to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to keep your PC and everything up to date. And because even like with Geforce Now, it is, you know, you're using it gives you RTX shaders and everything. Like that's huge.
That's crazy.
Like I have a $1,500 fucking graphics card that I paid for to get to do that. You know, like
right. Mine was $900.
Yeah.
So
you know, and so like I see personally and I hear Pop like egging at the bit here. I see personally Microsoft moving.
Everybody,
No, yeah, no, it's never. But I see the more casual thing. I personally think that with the way that Microsoft is leaning with the Game Pass, I see this being the future that Microsoft is trying to build. Whether they admit it or not yet, I think this is where they're leaning, and Geforce is like the start.
If not already in the works.
You have the crossplay. You have the crossplay between Windows, PC.
Play anywhere, cross save, like it's all there. They have the servers, they have the cloud base, they have the community that wants it for sure. So I mean, it's just check the box.
Because like think so Pop, you know, DBD. We'll just use that since we were just talking about it. You don't have to update DBD now. You just click in your Game Pass, click DBD, and all of a sudden you're playing it on whatever, you know, through your internet. There's no updates. There's no whatever. You just load into DBD. All of a sudden you want to play DBD because it's in the cloud server. There you go. Yep. You're paying that $15 a month, whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's where I don't think I would apply to the average gamer, because when I go sit down to play a game, like I am invested in that game, and I want, like, that's why I'm moving to PC, because I want the better frames, I want the better everything. Yeah. And so, you know, I mean, sure, I play like games on my phone or something, but I don't really just play games just to play games. I guess I could see that with like maybe more story-based games, because it's not as, you know,
right, and those are the kind of games you don't want to play on stream always anyway, because spoilers.
Yeah, I guess that I could see, but I also don't have anything else. Like I have my Xbox, I have my PC, and I don't have a laptop, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I mean, like I made that point earlier, but I don't have a laptop, I don't have a gaming tablet, I don't have any of that stuff either. So like I wouldn't use this, but like my husband, he does have a laptop, he has two actually, and like so he could use something like this. So it has its place. Whereas I don't think it will overtake gaming. I think it will definitely run alongside.
I think your cat hit your megaphone.
You're right. You have to be objective. I'm glad you caught that. I actually hit it already once as I was pulling her off. She hit it, I guess, again as I was pulling her off. Yeah, we have to speak.
I completely understand that.
Mine goes to my demon voice.
Wait, what?
So,
what are you talking about?
So topics like this, of course, we have to be somewhat objective, because we're people who spend thousands of dollars on gear either way, you know.
Right.
So you know, we have to, you know, speak of the objective things, but you know, from, you know, this is why chat is great. From the viewer side of it, you know, those people viewer wise, if you just have an Xbox, you know, cloud gaming moving forward, how great would it to be just sitting there on your Xbox, have a, you know.
And you're right. I guess 60 FPS on Xbox, what does it really freaking matter if you're using internet for that?
Yeah.
That would be nice. And they kind of are, but isn't that how they already do it when they update COD and Apex and whatnot? Like, and I'm like, oh, I never know when I have an actual update. I have to go into my game queue and update it, or
if you set on
they already updated it.
An update again. You never have to update. You never have to do anything like that.
It definitely already is on that way, because I already have that problem. Like update with Apex patch notes, and I go in and I'm like waiting for this update, and then it's already done. Like I just clicked Apex and the update was already applied, and I'm like, cool. Okay. All right. Yeah. Same with COD. But then it's like when they drop like new maps or the brand new content that you actually have to download the update. But other than that, there have been times that I'm like, how did this update already? So I think that's very much already something we're seeing and not maybe realizing.
I would agree. And that's why I said the Microsoft side of it. I think that whether or not we realize it, but I think we as Mixer folk are already invested into the Game Pass, because I think that they're already building that infrastructure, whether we realize it or not, and whether they admit it or not. I think that they're moving there. Like Jojo said, they have the share play, the share saves, they have this. It's all very much cloud based. They're definitely moving there, and there's a lot of services out there that
there's also a lot of things that are still in the works as far as Microsoft goes that we can't even talk about yet, but we already know about. So those specific things in general definitely make me feel like Cheers for NDA.
Yeah. Cheers, NDA.
But
yeah.
stay tuned. You're not gonna want to miss it.
Yeah. Next time on
Like,
Dragon Ball Z.
awesome stuff coming. and I definitely think with the future changes that they're going to be making, that it's like right around the corner. So.
Yeah. But yeah, as a whole, not just Microsoft, but I mean, obviously, like a reason I want to talk about it is because we are invested, and we have that personal thing that it might be moving that way. But cloud gaming as a whole brings that aspect to it. The GeForce Now side of it, we can talk a little bit because I know Warlock asked about it. The Blizzard side of it, so they pulled theirs off of cloud gaming. And Warlock was asked about that. So, or they pulled theirs off of GeForce Now, which might have been, I've read a couple articles since then, might have been for different reasons. The reason it was in beta the whole time, it was access, so people were able to play Overwatch the whole time. And WoW and everything on their shitty PCs, no matter what, as long as they had an internet connection. And then a week after it came out of beta, which, you know, like I said, it's $5 a month. There is a free version, but it's $5 a month for the paid version. As long as you own the game, like I said, they pulled it from there, and there's a couple different speculations of why they did it. Obviously, they didn't have the direct permission that from the articles that I read, but the superstition or the conspiracy theories for it. There's a lot of different things. One of them being that Google Stadia and Blizzard do have an agreement. And without getting into the nitty-gritty, there is access for Google Stadia, which is a rival cloud gaming service. But theirs is limited to you have to buy it through Stadia. That's the big difference between GeForce Now and Stadia. GeForce Now, as long as you own the game, no matter where you own it, Steam, whatever, Epic Store, doesn't matter where you own it, you're able to play it. Stadia, you have to own it through them. So that's a huge thing. Another reason why I don't like Stadia. But they do have a partnership with them that allows a kind of white label that allows developer companies to kind of take their cloud atmosphere and infrastructure and kind of change it over into theirs. And what that could mean is that Blizzard, which we've talked pros and cons about them lately quite a bit, as I used to love them, it means that I speculate that they could be making their own cloud gaming service. They're going to take, you know, they have that partnership with Google that also says they're able to use that infrastructure to their own. So they're going to release onto Stadia, but then they're going to make their own Battle.net cloud. And then you're able to play all your Battle.net on cloud.
Totally see that.
And
Totally.
I agree. That's why I'm bringing it up. I 110% see that being the reason that they pulled it off. I don't think it's going to be powered by Stadia. I think it's going to be their own thing. They're just going to kind of use their infrastructure. You know, they're going to use it to build battle.
Kind of like how they do games now, like how you have Battle.net, how you have Origin, how you have Steam. It's just going to be like the same, like cloud gaming.
Yeah. So the question that I have on that topic of it, if right now Blizzard is restricting off of is restricting off of GeForce Now, are we going to, and my worry is we're going to run into what we're running into in streaming services for Netflix, Hulu wise, for watching things. I'm worried that we're going to run into, okay, I want to play this game. I have to sub to Battle.net cloud. I want to play this game. I have to sub to Epic Cloud now. I want to play this game and all that. So, because every one of them wants a piece of the pie, if they restrict to one service and then want to make their own because they all want their own piece of the pie.
Not a bad thing, though. I mean, it prevents monopoly in that sense.
It prevents
them making, you know, if all your games are on this one platform, they can jack their price up however high the hell they want.
At the same time,
you know, it keeps it competitive.
At the same time, you remember when net neutrality was a big thing? This is basically gaming neutrality, and that's them eliminating it. Right now, we have the ability to play whatever game we want on whatever platform it's for, as long as we own it. But if that becomes a solo thing, you know, it'll be like, instead of having to pay if you want to go to a certain website, you have to pay if you want to play a certain game every time you play it, not just buying it, but to continue playing it. So that would be an overall negative, but I don't think it will ever get to the point where that's the
I don't think I don't think it'll get that bad. But you know, you have to look. You know, obviously we don't have numbers in front of us, but what would be more advantageous? Do you release your own streaming platform? Do you make a battle.net now and have your games on it? Or do you go, hey, all these cloud platforms, I want you all to have access to my game, and then you get more income because more people are playing it for free across all platforms.
Well,
perfect
EA
example,
Access
Fortnite.
is already kind of like that. It's not cloud, but as long as you're sub to EA Access, you get like dozens of games, and you don't even have to buy them. You just get to play them as long as you're subbed, and it's only like $30 a year. It's stupid cheap for EA Access. It's just, you know, it's EA, so I usually
think it's just gonna matter what kind of, as far as the developer and whatnot, what kind of game you have, and if, you know, if you have a game that's died out, you know, no one, you know, it's a story-based game, people play, finish it to end, and then they're not playing it again. Yeah, you want to get that. You'll put that out there probably on every platform just to get that exposure, you know, get that extra income coming in. But as far as, you know, ones like Call of Duty or the ones that just keep updating, yeah, I totally see them all getting their own. They want to be on top of that. They don't want to give control up.
I agree. I could see it happening. I don't want it to happen. I'm not happy with how Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and all that are. I don't like paying for 10 different streaming services.
Yeah.
I could see that happening as well. I really, really hope I'm wrong. I could see that happening also. But the only hope I have is that businesses look at the Fortnite example. You know, I don't like Fortnite, but from a business and everything else standpoint, Fortnite free across all platforms, cross across every platform now. Yeah, everything is cross, and they're still making money by the fucking boatloads.
Pumping out decent content. I
mean, they're fucking great. Yeah,
you gotta give the kids something that they want to buy. You gotta give the parents a reason to buy it for the kids. You have to promote it. You have to get a good solid streamer behind it to promote it for you. You know, you have to do all of that. I mean, that's just how it is now. Streamers sell games now. Games don't sell streamers. So
yeah.
I mean, Ninja is the perfect example of that. Fortnite would be absolutely nothing without Ninja. So
yeah, I agree. I hope that we're wrong, that we don't have to start buying 7 different subscription services to play games.
I think if it ever became that way, all of these individual companies, while they might see a slight gain in the beginning, they will see a massive drop in their overall dividends. I think it would. I don't think it would benefit, because there's a lot of people like me. I can barely afford to buy a AAA game when it comes out. You know, I don't want to have to pay $5 a month every month to just keep playing it with my friends. You know.
Now, would that, like, $5 a month, would that be for multiple games or just the ones?
That
all
one
the ones that you own
service.
under that developer.
Geforce is, you know, 5.
So we'd basically be choosing, like, is it worth for us to have this over this? Like, if I have one.
Do you
game
really
want to
watch Mandalorian? Is the question. That's what it comes down to. How bad?
I mean, it's what the Game Pass is.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought up. That's why I thought this was a good topic. Even though, like, we, you know, 3 of us, Pop is getting into PC gaming, but all of us really aren't cloud gamers. But it does still apply to us, because this is something that this is the future. This very well could be our future.
The games I play, like, I'm with JoJo. The majority of games that I play are usually on Game Pass. Like, I won't touch it until it hits Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that with a lot of games, but I'm also like, I'm a COD fangirl. I have been for 10 years. So, like, I'm always going to buy that Call of Duty right when it first comes out. It might suck after the first 2 months, but I'm still going to buy it. I'm committal, okay? But when another game comes out on Game Pass, I'm like, oh, let's try this.
Right, like, I just was
probably
installing a few
downloaded
games,
and
like,
tried
I'm
so
installing
many games.
that Goose game.
Untitled Goose Game.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, Untitled Goose Game.
So fun.
Buns was playing it like the other night, and I was like, "Oh man, that looks
It
really fun for how
really
like,
brings
weird
to
it
light
is."
that geese are dicks. Like,
Dude, I've known that my whole life. Like, I don't know why.
They really are in real life also. Like, you ever have like a pond near like a mall or a shopping center that has like ducks and geese in it? They are assholes. They are assholes. If they're walking in the middle of the road, I've literally had a duck jump onto my car before because I honked at it. Jumped onto the hood of my car and then wouldn't get off. And legally, you're not allowed to run them over. It's a fine, like a felony or whatever. So
how do you know
it's
this?
so stupid. They're assholes.
Yep. So
I like it though.
So for better or for worse, going around, do you think we're gonna do you think cloud gaming is where we're heading in the future?
I think it could be. Oh, well, getting back to the
it's never gonna go.
I think Geforce now is a good idea. I think that would be awesome, but only if most companies go with Geforce and not make their own.
Yeah, I really hope they don't.
One-stop shop for most games, that would be dope. Like, I would pay for that.
Well,
if I had another thing to.
Right now though, you still have to buy you still have to have the game itself. It's not like you buy
the game itself, but it would be nice, like to just be able to play that game on whatever could run that game. That
you never have to worry about upgrading your PC.
Exactly. Like I said, if I could go downstairs right now when I'm getting ready for bed and play this goose game in bed, I'd be happy.
On your shitty whatever 2000 whatever tablet, whatever PC. So we have
that's a low graphic game anyway,
yeah.
so it's like that'd be perfect for
so future cloud gaming, yes. I think I heard Pop, yes. Shredder, yes. Jojo, yes. I think overall, realistically.
I mean, overall, like I think it's a solid idea. I mean, the only thing that keeps popping into my mind is the PlayStation Vita or whatever the hell that thing was.
Yeah, handhelds and all that are a little different, But I mean, this brings in when we were talking weeks ago about that Alienware handheld.
That was a little different.
That was a little different, but now you have a handheld laptop that might be a little more expensive or whatever, but more movable. You put Geforce Now on that, you pay that $5 a month. Now you're able to play whatever, wherever.
Also, back to what I said before, NVIDIA has their own handhelds. They have the NVIDIA Shield. They have the Shield, the Shield Plus, I think is what it's called, which is like a tablet, not a controller. So, like, if you put that service on those, you can play anything from anywhere if you have one of those little things. So that might be what they're trying to do. They might be trying to get PC gamers more mobile.
Buy that.
Yeah. And then
and promote their own shit in the process. So I think that's solid on their part.
So I really hope, obviously, Blizzard pulled out. I really hope that they go back into the GeForce Now. I personally really don't want to see 17 different streaming services for games.
Yeah.
But what Blizzard
if
game
anyone did it would be Blizzard.
Oh yeah, 110%. It would definitely be Blizzard. It would definitely. And that's the thing. Like,
they always make things more complicated.
Well,
we gotta make up for that Diablo scam.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we want to get it on mobile gaming. Mobile gaming. This was our plan all along. This is what we meant. Yeah.
No, this is what we tried to tell you fuckers.
Right.
We're gonna reference that every episode. I think
that would be a good fallback.
Yeah, that we're gonna somehow reference that every episode.
Out, but we didn't know they were gonna not talk about it.
They come out with their streaming service, and the tagline is just, "You guys have phones, don't you?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That just fucking own up to it. Just own up to it. Yep. All right. That's all the topics. Closing. Just finishing up. Jojo, any finalized thoughts on anything that we talked about? Anything that jumped out that you didn't get to say?
No, not really. I think it's pretty well
good.
rounded.
Shredder.
I definitely want to touch back on Bleeding Edge. I think that was the topic of the week that I think is really pushing.
That people should get in on it.
That game is gonna do really well, honestly. I think it's.
I agree with
that. It's like Overwatch, but not quite as competitive. So it appeals to people like me that don't like competitive stuff. I love it.
I agree.
So.
All right, Shredder. Anything?
I think we got all of our main things, and you guys talk about your techie stuff, and I kind of just sit here and chime in every now and then. But then when we talk about DBD, I get to talk all I want.
I know you're so excited.
Death Slinger is awesome as well. So
Yes.
Pop, anything that
excited.
you shelved or anything that you want to throw back in there?
I have to play more Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
Well-
if you do end up switching and playing it on PC, get with me. We can run some matches.
Have
I'm
you-
always
have you-
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you don't understand. I am terrible with this
No,
movement.
listen,
It's
listen.
so
We'll figure it
bad.
out.
Every
do-
30 days, the ranks reset. You'll be okay.
Wait, is your PC ready now? Do you have your PC?
Oh yeah, I've been playing PC Apex and Siege for
Okay, so
been
we can
playing
do what we
Apex,
did with
Siege, and
Undercard last
PUBG
week.
like an idiot.
No, we can do what we did with Undercard last week. What you do is right now you download. Oh, well, I don't know if you have Game Pass Ultimate. You should, right? I think I don't know if you do.
I've been
But
charging.
It's on Game Pass Ultimate. You could download. It's a different copy than the good one through Steam that JoJo and I have. But we could play Dead by Daylight.
We could play right now.
Yeah, just download it through Game Pass Ultimate onto your PC. 110%.
Yeah, you don't even have to buy
That's
it.
what we did with Undercard last week. He was like, I kind of want to play. And we were like,
download through Game Pass Ultimate.
if you have Game Pass, you just search it on like your PC and just open up the
Honestly,
Xbox thing.
If your PC is logged in to your same Windows account, like your same Microsoft account that you use for your Xbox, you don't even need the Ultimate app. You can just go to the Windows Store and download it, and it should say
okay.
that
Well,
you
there you
already
go.
owned it.
There you go.
Wait, I go to Windows, not Steam or anything.
No,
Yeah, the Windows 10 store.
I don't freaking know.
All right, we'll cross that bridge we'll cross that bridge here in a second. I'm gonna wrap us up a little bit so that way we can get like on the YouTube side of it. So that way all that, because yada yada, we always go over time, but we're getting there. We go off on tangents. Again, thank you everybody, chat, everybody who's been out there. I love you guys. All the hosts, follows. If you have not followed all these other wonderful people, I can't point. I pointed to my left because Pop's to my left on my screen, but there's nobody there. So Pop, of course, special guest this week, Shredder, JoJo. We'll just go around. JoJo, when do you stream?
Every day except Wednesday and Saturday, 8 p.m. plus.
There you
Eastern
go.
Standard Time.
Shredder, when are you on for people to come back and see you?
I stream every day except for Sundays and Tuesdays. I start at 9 a.m. and I go to 5 p.m. PST.
There you go. And Pop, what's your schedule like for people to come back and see you?
Monday, it's kind of tricky. Monday through Wednesday, it is during the day. I start at 10, 11-ish. And then Thursday and the weekend, Saturday and Sunday is at night.
So what you're saying is that to also follow Pop on her socials, which is also PopDemTartz, and everybody else on their respective socials. Shredder OG, JoJo Says Bree, PopDemTartz, all on their respective socials. I think it's all the same on Twitter as well. Yeah, so I think they're all the same. Pop also does Modern Warfare tournaments on Tuesdays, right? Right.
Yeah. So normally I would be during the day on Tuesdays, but now with this league, I'm at night.
She does a Modern Warfare league on Tuesday night, so it's always a lot of fun. I know I try to tune in a little bit before I get on as well. So that's if you guys like Modern Warfare. It's a duos gun game tournament, right? Gunfight. Sorry.
Yeah, 8
Sorry.
weeks.
I say what I mean to say.
It's okay. You play Apex, I play Apex. We have mutual language there.
Yeah, there we go. The thing with the stuff and they go pew.
Pew. Pew pew.
Yeah, pew pew. I think that's about it. Definitely, like I said, guys, thank you everybody for the hosts, the Embers tonight, showing the love for everybody around. We do appreciate you. Follows. It's only gonna get bigger and better moving forward. Always special guest. Pop will love to have her back. When she could chime in more. My next opening is like in the end of April.
Yo, Modern Warfare BR, bring me back.
I know. If
I'm so excited.
Unofficial, like not to get on a whole topic, but from what I've heard, mid-March.
March 10th.
I have not seen an official stating. Unofficial mid-March.
I was gonna say that's how I am too. Like I said, Division 2. I don't trust anything anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
Official. I've heard mid-March. That's why we didn't talk about it tonight, because there is no actual thing, but unofficial, official March. There might actually be an opening if you want to come back and talk about it, Pop, but we'll talk about that later off time. I might have somebody who might be not able to make the one of my mid-March dates on the show. So, but otherwise, thank you everybody out there in Chatland. We do appreciate you. Again, follow all these lovely people. If I can get the co-stream command up in chat. All these lovely people, just do yourself a favor. And yeah, and Pop isn't in the co-stream anymore. That's right, she exited into it. So hey, shout out Pop as well, because yours like I know.
Was I in the co-stream? I accepted
You were,
the invite,
you
but
were, and then it like exited out, and then yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
I don't know what happened.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm giving you a hard time, babe. But again,
my gosh.
again. So Pop, special guest, JoJo, Shredder. You have all different times of the day, guys. Every one of these people deserves love. Next week, next Wednesday, we will be back. We have Entertainer on the show next Wednesday. I know.
Do we really have him?
Yep, Entertainer is next Wednesday, who I have scheduled.
Go.
Yep.
Nice.
Entertainer is who I have scheduled next Wednesday. I know Shredder will be there. I don't. Disciple will be in Boston, so I don't know. I might.
Oh, was he going to PAX East?
Yeah,
Yes.
Disciple is at PAX East. So I don't know. I might ask Undercard because I don't want JoJo to feel like she's obligated. So I might get like Undercard in here next week as our other. Because he was another one that said he would be a co-host, fill-in co-host. So Shredder is always my rock. That gentleman over there. So he is my co-host, my permanent co-host. He is the what is it? What's his face? I think like whose line is it? No, I think like whose line is it anyway? Where I'm
Ryan?
like Drew Carey and you're like the one that's always on the
Ryan
show,
Stiles?
and then you have like like you're probably like the Ryan Styles. You're like there.
Colin.
You're
Colin, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Colin.
yeah, but like Ryan was there like 90% of the shows. Like,
He
I
could
would
be
say
a
like
Wayne.
either
He
one.
was good.
Yeah,
You're a
you
little-
you're
I love Wayne.
yeah
You're a little
you're
beardy. He doesn't have a beard. but
you're the
he could
one
be
that's
Wayne
there
Beard.
the 90% of the shows. Like you're there, and then the other ones are like, okay, you're there a lot of the time. Like and then you have your special guest. Like Pop
God,
is
I missed that show. by the way.
Pop is the Robin
Sometimes-
Williams. The
sometimes
special
Ryan wasn't
guest.
on there, and that Brad guy was there.
Yeah, the Brad-
Ryan
yeah.
wasn't a
True.
good example. Sometimes Ryan left and Brad took his spot. So
Yeah,
I would say
Colin,
you're
he's my Colin. Yeah, he's my Colin.
was almost always there.
I'll
Colin,
shave my head.
Yeah,
I'll
shave your head. You're my Colin. Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to say Wayne was mostly there too, because without Wayne, they can't do any singing skits.
No, Brad
It was
was a
so
singer though
great.
too. Brad sang.
was.
He wasn't as
Yeah,
good as Wayne,
true.
but that's neither here nor there.
nobody's as good as Wayne.
Yeah, no,
Right.
Wayne was there.
Nobody.
But yeah, that's how I
Yeah,
imagine
whenever it
this.
was like a singing skit.
Yeah.
They're like, Wayne, you.
Yeah,
come over here
Wayne, yeah.
randomly."
Jelly.
Yeah. But all right. Thank you again, everybody. I'm gonna officially end the recording for the broadcast side of it. Don't go anywhere. We'll figure out all this other kind of stuff. We'll take a couple minute kind
Jojo
of break.
hooked me up. Don't you worry. Jojo got my.
I'm sure she. See, I have to host. Okay, let me host. I cannot do everything. All right, I have to. I have to be the voice, the face. So I know she got you. I hear.
Definitely did.
I hear the.
She just
Oh,
gifted it to me on
oh.
Steam. Yes. That's
Oh,
what I'm
let's
saying.
fucking.
Like,
No. What that is.
Wrapping up the topics, I was like adding Pop and already gifting her in the game.
No, what that is she was so annoyed playing no trait character with Undercard last
not
week.
At all. Yeah, I mean a little bit. I kind of didn't want to go back to Windows 10.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I know it'll download faster on Steam than it will on Windows 10. 'cause
True story.
Windows throttles things they don't tell you, but Steam is better. Anyway,
True story.
So.
But anyways, wrap it up for the recording so that way I can put it on YouTube again. Everybody, thank you so much. Follow everybody. Kdog57,
Thank
JoJo
you.
Sesbury, Shredder OG, PopDemTartz. It was a pleasure. Hope to have everybody back here soon, of course. Love you guys long time. And there's JoJo making her funny faces. Love you guys long time. And we will see you next week, Wednesdays, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much. Love you long time. Mwah.
Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah.